The first atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, a military base. If Japan does not surrender, bombs will have to be dropped on her war industries, and unfortunately, thousands of civilian lives will be lost.
8, 7.
It took the bomb 43 seconds from the time we dropped it at 30,000 feet until the time it exploded at 18,000 feet. The first thing you saw was that large white cloud that was up well above our altitude. If you look down to the city of Hiroshima, it just looked like a pot of boiling oil covering the city.
6, 5.
To say it was frightening is an understatement. I think it shocked us all into silence. When the flash hit you, you could see the x-rays of your hands through your closed eyes.
4, 3.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
2, 1.
I bomb atomically.
Welcome to the Atomically Podcast, the only podcast where Socrates' philosophies and hypotheses can't define how we'd be dropping these mockeries. I'm joined by Professor Joey.
It's a job, not a jail. One, often in the same thing.
Joined by J-Mac.
What's up, what's up, what's up?
And we have a special guest tonight, the co-host of the TNT Podcast along with me, Mr. Tom. How you doing, Tom?
Hello.
Great to have you on. We've been trying to get you on for a little while. You've been asking, so you shall receive. We got a special Christmas episode for you guys this week, and you might notice that we're here a week early. I wish Santa would show up a week early, but not all of us are so lucky. So we thought we'd do that for you. I don't know. Starting off, we're going to do a little Spotify, our top 5. Not Spotify. Well, it's going to be a Spotify playlist. We're doing our top 5 Christmas songs. And after that, we're going to talk about the Black Mirror episode, White Christmas.
So this is a thing, music. We're doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it. We've got good feedback on it, on the playlist we set up with the movie playlist and then our individual playlist we set up. Tom, you got a question? I saw a hand there.
Yeah, I just want to say I saw your individual Spotify playlist that you guys put up last time, and I saw that Creeping Death was on the top of yours, so I just want to give you a little round of applause because that's my favorite song of all time.
Yeah, I actually gave you a shout out. You're the reason why I've been listening to that song because you gave it to me on one of the segments, and you were like, "Look at the lyrics." I never looked at the lyrics, so like that's kind of why it was in there. But it's been heavy rotation lately.
Shout out to the Hebrews.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Rock and roll.
So I guess we'll do a snake draft. It might get a little hard with 4 people. You know what?
Just go around. Fuck it.
Just go around.
I think, no, I agree with Tones. I think we should go 5, 5, 5, 5.
Yeah.
And analyze each one, and then we go down to our final first.
Yeah,
right?
So we'll do that. So Tom, since you're the guest, we'll let you kick it off.
Okay. All right, my 5th song, my top 5 Christmas songs. Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
Nice.
Now, listen, I know it's a fucking cheesy one, but I got something here. I'm telling you. This song is way deeper than it fucking looks. This song is about, it's definitely a true story. Somebody's grandma got absolutely fucking loaded on eggnog, wandered out of the house without her meds, and got blasted by a truck or a car or something. Because God, we know reindeer aren't just flying around running people over. And I think that they just try to make it into a, little Christmas theme kind of song. But I have the lyrics here. She'd been drinking too much eggnog, and we begged her not to go. But she forgot her medication, and she staggered out the door into the snow. When we found her Christmas morning at the scene of the attack, she had poof prints on her forehead and an incriminating hoof marks on her back. So she fucking, not only did she get run over by reindeer, we'll call them reindeer, she froze out overnight.
She could have been alive after the hit and run, and she just froze to death out there.
She could have been banging reindeers too, from an interpretation.
I know she got a hose
on the back,
and her forehead.
She's not fucking around, bro.
Mounted.
You might have
like
got
a reindeer.
all of the fucking reindeer. You know, Rudolph first, and then Blitzer, Blanson, whatever the names are.
Ran a train.
Donner and Dixon.
Flattened. I got fucking bulldozed by Santa's sleigh, too. Right over it and was just sitting there freezing. But then after that all happened, now they're all so proud of Grandpa. He was taking it well. And he was just watching football and drinking beer and playing cards with Cousin Belle. I mean, like, talk about a guy who hates his wife.
Oh, man.
But the tone of the song is very good. I enjoy it when it comes on, but I also like to have a little giggle to myself when I actually listen to the song going on over Christmas dinner. So I put that at number 5.
Nice. Yeah, you said, this one's a little corny. I think a lot of these Christmas songs kind of fall into that category, so I didn't let that deter me from picking anything.
Yeah. I mean, it's corny, but it's dark.
Yeah.
Very dark.
For sure. I guess we'll go, Joey, why don't you give us one?
I got one for you guys, and this is a little diddly by the band called The Kinks. It's called Father Christmas, and it actually sounds British. You know how, like, British bands don't sound British? Mm-hmm. Like, they actually sound British. Father Christmas. Right?
Are they British?
Yeah, they are British.
Okay.
Yeah. A song about Santa getting mugged by a bunch of kids. They said, Father Christmas, give us the money. Don't mess around with those silly toys. We'll beat you up, and if you don't hand it over, we want your bread, so don't make us annoyed. Give all the toys to the little rich boys. They want that bread from Santa.
Yeah, come on, Santa, what the fuck? You really going to peg me on my socioeconomic status and what gifts I get?
I mean, nothing like a Santa Christmas song that's referencing getting a machine gun for Christmas. How could you not bring that into modern day today, right?
Yeah.
The song was written a real long time ago, but I was actually talking about this in my class. Like, instead of wanting a Red Ryder BB gun, I want like a semi-automatic giant thing.
Give me an AR-15, Santa.
I don't know. I never held a gun in my life. I don't know anything about guns. But I know they're big and shoot hard or fast or both. I don't know.
I haven't held one either, but I can confirm I have a humongous dick.
Nice. You got the love gun, baby.
Watch it. My dick is tiny.
Nice.
Oh man, I feel like Bill's here on the show with us now. I like it.
he is, yeah. He's similar. He's got a similar taste in music and stuff to Bill. Doesn't care about the tits in movies as much, but we'll go into that later. All right, so I'm looking at my screen and I'm going to go in a rotation. So I'm next, just so I don't lose track. All right, my song, 12 Days of Christmas. I don't particularly like this song, but it's just, I find it absurd, the gifts that this guy's given to this poor woman. I mean, I Googled it. There's, in the 12 Days of Christmas, he gives her 184 birds. Like,
that's a lot of birds.
That's a lot of birds. Like, what are you supposed to do with all those birds? She's just like, more birds? Like, you gave me birds yesterday and the day before. What do I need all these birds for? So, and all the other stuff too. I mean,
wait. Before you move on from that gift, what do you think is worse, getting 184 birds or a full-on brand new Nissan with a fucking bow in your driveway with like payments you can't afford?
Well, you got to think, because the birds, you got to feed them too.
Unless you want to just let them free.
That's
but
true.
Let's assume that they're birds that just don't go free. They're like domesticated and you got to keep them.
I would rather keep the car because at least I get some use out of that. You got 184 birds. Like, you can't keep them in your house. Like, you have to build a separate structure to house them or whatever. Or, it's just a nightmare.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but that's what I went with.
I also have the 12 Days of Christmas, but I have a specific one. I can never say that word right. It's terrible.
Specific?
Spaghetti?
Yeah, those two. Yeah, the 12 Days of Christmas that I like since I was a fucking kid is the John Denver one with the Muppets.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, that shit is hard. It's dope. So, and when we were in Cub Scouts, they used to make us fucking sing that shit at Christmas time. Used to like try to mimic the Muppet voices and shit. It was a good time.
I was just going to ask that. You would have to do the voices? Like the
Yeah, try to. You know,
Okay.
5 gold, they're bum bum. And then the whole fucking thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought you were gonna. When you said earlier, it's a specific one. I thought you were going for the 12 Days of Guido Christmas. You know.
I didn't know that was
You know
a thing.
that one?
You guys, is that a thing?
It's like
Oh yeah,
3
yeah.
plates of gabagool, 2 amount of guts.
It's
On
just
the
shit.
first
12
day of
courses of
Christmas,
fucking
my
meat.
paisan gave to me a ride in his IROC Z.
Hey, you go.
On the second day of Christmas, my paisan gave to me none other than 2 guinea teas. But I don't want to. I'm sorry, Jimmy. I don't want to steal your.
No, that's it, man. I got no like specific. We all know the song.
We already kind of talked about it.
Talked about the birds already.
I was going to say, when you opened that up, for some reason, I thought you were going to take a shot at John Denver, and I was really going to object. But then I realized you were praising him, and I was like, "Yo, good choice, good choice."
No, I'm cool with John Denver. I have no beef with John Denver.
All right, so we'll kick it back to Tom now. Number 4.
Number 4 for me. Okay, I got "All Alone on Christmas," Darlene Love. Yeah, so you
Great
hear
song.
the saxophone
I
by
had that
Clarence
on my list,
Clemens.
man.
I told you this was going to happen.
Everybody's
Clarence
had-
Clemens on here.
Yeah, that's the
I
I had that on my list.
So, of course, what's the first thing you think of when you hear this song? Home Alone 2.
Home Alone 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Imagine being a kid, 10 years old. Your parents go to fucking, like, whatever. I think they went to Florida in Home Alone 2 because they went to
did.
Paris in the first one.
Yeah.
And you get, like, a credit card with literally unlimited spending. And you're 10. You're just like, you don't know any better. But you're smart enough to know that you don't know any better. So you just got to survive. So you check into the fucking – what's the hotel?
The Ritz?
The Plaza. The Plaza
Plaza,
Hotel. You run into Donald Trump's the first person you see, just like, oh, it's over there to your left. And then you just live like a king for the holidays. That's an incredible experience. When I hear this song, I'm just like, Kevin got away good in that movie. It wasn't that bad. He knew how to take care of the fucking wet bandits.
They could have handled him.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm more surprised that they would actually let a 10-year-old just walk in with a credit card and like book the penthouse or whatever, No, there's no one was
Bro,
like.
that's
looking
because
into
you're too young to understand the power of a fucking talk boy.
Yeah, man. I was talking to
I
my
got
class
one of
about
those.
Talk Boy last night.
Yeah, that's just the shit. I got one of those for Christmas when I was a kid. It was fucking awesome.
It was no way. That thing is a bust of a toy. Such a bust.
Bro,
I thought
we
I was
used to
going to
have
get away
so
with the
much
world
fun.
with that thing.
That fucking thing. We used to sit, me, my boy Chris Wilson, his brother, and my older sister would sit on my steps and do like interviews with people walking by and then like flip it to slow. So when you played at the regular speed, it was like sped up, or then play like you'd fucking record it weird. So the voices would be all fucked up. Like you'd be talking to different people and shit. It was awesome.
Yeah. Now there's like an app that does a million times better than a Talk
Yeah, I
Boy.
know.
Isn't it sad,
Technology just ruins everything. It's fun.
It does.
It went too fast. I
Fucking
mean, he had this
technology.
unlimited credit card, and he just had an in at Duncan's toy chest. I mean, that's like when there's in an unmaterialistic world, in a way, that's all you could really ask for. That's huge.
Yeah.
You get any toy you want. He got the turtle doves. That was such a terrible choice, but it was a good choice at the same time. But anyway, I digress. All Alone on Christmas, Darlene Love.
You know what's cool about that song is that like if you listen to the words, it's like sad shit, but it's like a song that like kind of fucking makes you happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the shredding saxophone, so it's like upbeat, but she's just talking about she got ditched by her boyfriend on Christmas and she's got to spend it by herself. It's horrible.
Yeah. No, it's the DG B minor A. That's what it is. And that's like every fucking Beatles song ever. That's why it sounds so great.
I'm guessing that's music stuff.
Yeah,
G,
they're
okay.
notes.
Okay.
You don't know chords, bro?
No, I don't. Coming from the man who bought a guitar and tried to play for like a week and.
Who are you talking about?
You.
That's not me. I don't know how to talk about. Anyway, that's my song.
Nice. Okay. Joey, number 4.
I was saving this for my last one, but I'm going to drop it now because it's a trifecta, the Darlene Love, Cold Wind is Blowing in the Streets to Get 'Em Dark song. What is it called again? Fucking.
That's All Alone on Christmas.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't remember the name for I had a brain fart. And my app wasn't opening fast enough. All Alone on Christmas. But Darlene Love also sings two Christmas songs that are fucking awesome. Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. A version of that's fucking awesome from the CD A Very Special Christmas Too. Remember those CDs? It was a red and a green cover for part 1 and 2, and it was like a outline of
what
a
I call
person.
Christmas.
I remember those. Those were really bad. Anything now, that's what I called something. It was like, wait, were those the ones? No, it was a Kids Bop.
Kids
It's
Bop,
like something
yeah.
else. Yeah, Kids Bop is fucking horrible. Now that's what I call music was like the compilation of like.
Yeah, like all the big hits and shit.
I remember when that came out. But so yeah, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, she does an awesome version of that. But then how can we not forget Christmas, Baby, Please Come Home, the opening song in fucking Gremlins.
Mm-hmm. That was on my list. I had to take it off for Grandma. Got run over by a ranger. Like I genuinely like that's top 5 though. Baby, Please Come Home by any artist.
So
good. Baby, Please Come Home is hard.
And she sings a great version of that to open up freaking A Christmas in July movie, fucking the Gremlin movie, original. And trifecta of Darlene Love.
Nice. So which one did you go with for your pick? It was
all 3.
So just throw it in there.
Gotcha.
You don't keep it loosey-goosey with these lists.
Yeah,
gotcha.
That's fucking...
When things get real serious, like, top 5 scrutiny, well, I won't do shit like that, but
I thought this was
otherwise
serious.
I do shit like that.
Am I the only one taking this serious right now?
No, not at all. I'm standing by my picks.
Oh, what was that for? We did like that charity podcast that time for the a hurricane or something, and it was like top 5 favorite movies that weren't horror, and this fucking jerk off picks every Star Wars movie as one of his picks. Dude, it's fucking like 7 of them.
And the other one was like all the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah.
I always like to find a little loophole.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go with my number 4, and I think we talked about this last week. Dominic the Donkey. Just
great pick.
Classic. I mean, it is a pretty bad song, but it's not Christmas unless I listen to that song.
My wife showed me a great TikTok. It's this like, it must be like an Italian man married to an American woman, and she puts it on, and he's like decorating a tree, and he's like, what is this? She's like, what do you mean? This is Dominic the Donkey. What is this Dominic Donkey? He gets fucking pissed. She's like, it's an Italian. This nuts. He gets all fucking pissed off and shit. Yeah. And offended by it. I was like, oh, that's hysterical.
Interesting. See, I always thought it was like I guess it's an Italian American thing. I always thought it was like Italian, but
yeah, funny. Like everything Parmesan, that's Italian American. You can't get chicken parm in Italy.
Yeah. No, I got my friend Maurice, who's been on TNT, and J-Mac knows him as well, I think. His parents were born and raised in Italy, and his grandfather owned a restaurant in New York City. And apparently there's a thing in Italy where you're not allowed to put cheese on fish. And someone like ordered like shrimp scampi or whatever, and like, oh, can I get some Parmesan cheese? He'd kick him out of the restaurant.
Oh, shit.
He would just scream at them until they left the restaurant. Get out of here. You don't do this shit in here. Just like going nuts. So
I like to picture that if I was ever a restaurant owner and they were like, I'd like my steak well done. Get out!
Get out! All right, J-Mac, what do you got for number 4?
Number 4, what do I got for number 4? Oh, Christmas, Don't Be Late by Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Oh, man, that's a great one.
That was my next one.
Was it?
Yeah.
Gotta step the game up.
No, that's a classic.
Dude, how great is that fucking song?
Yeah.
Nothing makes me happier at Christmas time when that shit comes on.
I'm going to call No One Else Has My next 3 songs.
I doubt that.
We'll see.
But I want to keep talking about this one because it is, Alvin and the Chipmunks was really
iconic.
I feel like I wasn't there for like live Alvin and the Chipmunks, but I inherited even the cartoons. Like when fucking, what's the dad's name?
Dave Seville.
Dave, that's right. Dude, Dave put up with a lot of shit with those fucking guys. I always found it hilarious when you get pissed off at Alvin. Alvin! He gets so mad at fucking Alvin. But Alvin was actually a good dude. I feel like Alvin grew up to be like the good chipmunk. You know, the Simon was the fucking nerd. Then there was the fucking Chode.
He's like tweaking out on meth now, probably, Simon. He ended up down a real dark path, probably. Theodore's like 500 pounds.
Simon majored in mathematics and got nowhere in life.
Yeah.
Crippled by student debt.
It was Alvin, Simon, and who? Who was the third guy?
Theodore.
Yeah. Yeah. Permanent scars from his fraternity hazing.
I think they're well parented, but they were pieces of shit as we knew them on Christmas.
They definitely got mommy issues, you know.
Well, Dave inherited quite the kids.
Did you ever see the live action movies, like the newer ones?
I saw. My son was like a kid when they came out. I saw them probably each once, but I remember one of them being funny with it. Like, is that Chipwrecked?
I was gonna say the one they get stranded on an island. Chipwrecked, hysterical.
Yeah, that shit was fun. I remember that one stands out more than the first one.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way they cover the songs, bro, they'll take songs that I absolutely would never listen to in my life, like in an AirPod, and like I'd listen to it with the Chipmunks were singing it, you know. And I remember like back in the day they were covering the fucking John Denver song, Country Road, but Chipmunk style. I had a cassette tape, you know. Fucking the monks, bro. Fucking monks.
Awesome.
All right, Tom. On to number 3 now.
All right, I got a great one. You guys will be upset that I'm getting this one. Little Saint Nick, Beach Boys.
Great track.
Great fucking song. It just fucking rips. That's a song that I listen to like 365 days a year. Like February next year, I'll throw on because like I love the Beach Boys, but like I would put that song in their top 5 tracks. Little Saint Nick. Regardless, it's fucking. You know what it's like? Best way to describe this song: it's like surfing on Christmas.
Yeah.
You're in Hawaii.
Yeah.
It's Christmas Day. I'm going surfing. And I don't surf, but I would imagine if I did, and it's Christmas Day, and you got a day to surf, that's got to be dope. And I'm throwing that song on.
Nice. We got to make sure when I put it in the Spotify playlist, I don't have the knockoff Beach Boys. What was the one I put in?
Oh, the Surf Boys.
The fun surfers.
The fun surfers. Yeah, I got to make sure I get the Beach Boys version, not the fun surfers in there.
Jeez, that's a mistake that nobody should make right there. Specifically the 1991 remix. You'll have yourself a great time. You'll be surfing some swells in no time.
Now, let me ask you something, Tom. So you mentioned you listen to this year round. Didn't you do was it March Christmas or May Christmas?
March Christmas.
So every March you would just like have like a week where you just like listen to Christmas music and watch Christmas movies, more or less?
Yes. Because I listen to music every single night. I'll sit here with my headphones on right here. And sometimes the music I listen to, just like I'm like I need something new. And usually by that time, post football season, like I'm not as amped anymore. Things are calmed down. I need something fucking raw. Throw me on a Christmas set list.
Nice, because when Christmas rolled around during football season, you were too into football to pay attention to Christmas. So you got to celebrate it after the fact.
Yeah, that's actually a great way of thinking about it. That's probably it. My subconscious mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I missed out on Christmas. Let me get it in now.
Let me just do it now. Yeah, get it. Yeah, but I mean, it's just like I get you only throw these songs on for Christmas, but a lot of them are just genuinely great songs. I think the rest of my list that I'll get to are actually on a pretty daily rotation.
Okay.
So, just good music.
Love it. All right, Joey.
Thank you.
Number 3.
Up next, I got a little diddly by the band Blink-182. I Won't Be Home for Christmas. I love this song because it's like a John Hughes movie in a fucking song. It's like, and at the same time, you always got to have like the balance of negativity, right? Like we watch all these movies that are about like the dysfunctional Christmas antics, and this song is just like that. The song's about like, a I guess whoever the narrator of the song is, whether whoever the I figure is, but about having to deal with family members and the annoying carolers and the whiny voices at the table, and how just leave the presents and leave me alone. All right, give me the presents and leave me alone. Because you know what, sometimes you fucking feel like that, and that's real. But again, I read the lyrics, and as I'm reading the lyrics, what do I think? John Hughes movie. Home Alone is a John Hughes movie, right? Think about that crazy family in the beginning and shit like that, What was the other Christmas movie I was thinking about? National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, like you got to deal with your fucking in-law, the family, you know what I mean? So, freaking love this song. And then, like, the music is cool too. It's fucking upbeat and... I won't be home for Christmas. And that's my number 3.
Yeah, I noticed, like, the older you get, the more and more, like, Christmas becomes, like, stressful, more than, like, you can sit back and enjoy it. Especially once you guys have kids, I'm sure it's, tenfold.
Yeah,
especially
when your wife goes wild and is Jewish and, like, makes Christmas extremely over the top and changes the fucking rules of Christmas morning. I'm like, yo. She's like, wait, these are the presents from us, and these are the presents. I'm like, what the fuck kind of shit is this?
Wait, so you guys get presents from Santa and from you guys?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
The rules changed. I'm like, what the fuck kind of shit is this? Oh, we got a handout, Tommy.
Do you guys leave milk and cookies out?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Are you the one who eats them?
Of course.
What time do you eat them? Like right when they go to bed?
Like, probably right when they go to... I don't wait till after wrapping presents and shit.
When I first found out Santa wasn't real and I understood, like, what was going on, I still, like, was in a little bit of denial. I thought my dad would at least have the effort to get up at, like, 2 in the morning to go down those things. Like, not wait until, like, 10 p.m. to have some cookies and then go to bed at a regular time. At least show some effort to, like, set an alarm, get up, it's me pretending to be Santa Claus, eat the cookies, drink the milk, drink half of it, so that way it's like really he was there, because he's probably had a lot of milk.
Yeah.
That's like me with the elf on the shelf. I'm like setting it up, they're still awake in the room, I'm like risking it all just because I don't want to fuck. I'm tired, bro. I want to go to bed, fucking elves. I fucking don't wake up in the morning, they're not moved, I'm done for.
Yeah, I lucked out with that shit when my son was into the elf on the shelf. Like, I worked nights, so when I got home, he was already asleep. So I had, like, full reign of the fucking house to set up all kinds of elaborate shit.
Oh, yeah.
And it's fun when they're little, man. When they get big, they don't care no more. Like, my kid didn't give a fuck about putting up a Christmas tree this year. Like, we're going to be in New York for Christmas. So at one point, I was like, I don't even feel like fucking doing it. I'll just not decorate this year. I put the tree up. I didn't put no ornaments on it this year. But at least it lights up in the corner when I look at it. So
would you ever consider getting your kids just like a tiny piece of coal to, like, just to send a message if they were still to believe in Santa? Like, he's like, I just got like a tiny piece of coal. Like, what did I do wrong? And then you can
I got
throw
coal
in, like,
when I was 4. They got it on home video. I was, mortified. They got that shit on home video. I gotta find it. We gotta put it on the website. Like, my old man has it. I gotta figure out how to get it on digital.
Yeah.
I was like on a VHS from like a camcorder back then.
Yeah. My daughter watched it. She was like, oh my God. So, like, my older one doesn't fuck around, but the little one, she's like a loose cannon.
The way I grew up, if you were to get coal, that's like the same thing as, like, you're going to hell.
Oh, yeah.
You're bad. You're bad.
You're a
bad
piece of
seed.
shit. You're, like, you're one of these characters in the Black Mirror episode, you fucking scumbag piece of shit, you.
All right, we'll keep it moving here. My number 3, I got Last Christmas by Wham.
Great one.
Nice.
Totally considered it.
Yeah. I don't have much to say about it. I mean, Wham, they got some hits out there. I count this as one of them.
George Michael has a fucking voice. That's all you have to say.
Yeah, no denying that. So we'll keep it moving, I guess. J-Mac, get on to number 3, because we're almost at a half hour right now.
Yeah, okay. So, Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC.
I knew you were calling that one.
Yeah. Dude, weirdly enough, I have, like, very clear memories of being a little kid and in my older cousin's fucking Ford Bronco driving around at Christmas time listening to that song. Oddly enough, that cousin is, like, super conservative and doesn't care at all about rap music, but he's basically who got me into rap. Like growing up, when I was little, he'd like listen to like Run DMC in his car and Biz Markie and fucking Slick Rick and shit like that. And I have like clear memories of driving around with him at like 5 and, you know, hearing that music in his car. And then from there, I just liked rap music going forward. But yeah, Christmas in Hollis is hard.
Nice.
That's a great song.
Oh yeah.
All right, Tom.
Jingle All the Way.
What is that? Is that yours?
I was gonna say that song is what they play when he's going to get the fake Turbo Man
Okay.
from Shemmy's brother and the Big Show. This is number 2. Just talked about it. Christmas Vacation. I think that song. I think that song. Yeah, I think that's just like a fucking phenomenal song, and I put that as number 2. I stand by that.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell of a track.
Great track, great movie. I love that fucking movie.
Probably the best, in my opinion. That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get into it.
I got it up there with Christmas Story, but those are like probably 1 and 2 for me.
Yeah.
Jingle
I
All
got
the
that.
Way, the best Christmas movie of all time.
That and Silent Night, Deadly Night are like yearly watches at Christmas for me. You know, next to the Home Alone, the first 2. We watched the third one. I've seen them all. There, I didn't see the new one, Home Sweet Home Alone.
There's no point. Home Alone died after the second one.
I saw people saying that they should just have Macaulay Culkin in the new one and just act like nothing's weird about like a grown adult playing like a little kid. That'd be pretty cool. But
There was some video they made with him, like reprising the role, it was like a little skit.
okay, gotcha. Or he just like reenacted kind of thing.
Yeah, when he had the long hair with the cigarette in the back of the seat, and he's talking about how his parents left him alone for Christmas. And
Yeah.
he's totally mentally disturbed by it. It's actually a very hilarious clip that he did.
Nice. All right, Joey, number 2.
Number 2 is it's actually another song from A Very Special Christmas 2, and this is by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. It's called Christmas All Over Again.
Oh, how could I forgot about that one? What a song.
Great song, right? So good. Underneath the mistletoe we go.
It's Christmas all over again. So, you know.
Oh yeah, of course.
So good.
I'm trying to think of what fucking movie it's in. Is that a Home Alone movie? A Home Alone song?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I don't think it is. I can't
It's
recall.
it's in one of like the juggernaut Christmas films. I'm trying to think of it might be Jingle All the Way.
You know, I haven't seen Jingle All the Way in a long time.
I just whispered it before, but I've seen all the Christmas movies. Jingle All the Way is the best Christmas movie of all time. Far and away.
I think it was in Home Alone. I just went on YouTube, Christmas All Over Again movie, and Home Alone soundtrack came up.
Yeah.
So
I can't remember what scene. I just watched Home Alone 2.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
It's probably Home Alone 2.
Okay, this one is saying this Home Alone 2.
It's Christmas All Over Again. It's the perfect song.
Yeah, I think it's the second one.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Yeah, all over again. That would make sense. Yeah, nice. Okay.
So, great track.
Great track. Number 2 for me, Run Run Rudolph by Chuck Berry. Run Run Rudolph. Yeah, I mean it's not just a good Christmas song, but just a good song. I mean, isn't he? Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't he considered like one of the best guitarists of all time? Like at least from the earlier generation.
He's a grandfather of the instrument. But if you remember the beginning of that song, it's just a yeah. He's fucking sweet at the guitar. Sweet at the guitar.
Yeah. All right. J-Mac, we got number 2 coming from you.
All right, I got It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas. John Adams. Christmas. I can't.
Is that Mike Tyson rendition?
Dude, my freaking face don't want to work today. I don't know what my problem is. But yeah, that basically any movie that was on Home Alone 1 or 2 soundtrack needs to be in everybody's regular Christmas rotation.
Hell yeah.
Could agree with that.
100%.
All right, so we'll get on to the number 1s. Tom, what's your number 1?
All right, I think this is a no-brainer. Do They Know It's Christmas Time by Band-Aid.
Nice.
Bono, Boy George, George Michael, Sting, list goes on.
Wow.
Song fucking rules. That's another one that's just a rotational song throughout 365 days of the year. It gets limited at Christmas. It's a shame. They fed a lot of families with that song. It's fucking unbelievable song.
Nice.
All right. Keep it moving. Joey, what's your number one?
Mine is Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Live version from CW Post in Long Island. My alma mater is Brooklyn, but it's LIU. And that would be Santa Claus Coming to Town by Bruce Springsteen. East Street Band. That live version fucking rocks, bro.
A little piano beginning.
Yeah, the like spoken intro. It's all cold down on the beach.
It's all cold on the beach.
Winds whipping down the boardwalk. You know?
I was going to have that, but I thought I was going to get a lot of shit because it seemed like there's going to be an anti-Springsteen crowd because Tones hates Bruce Springsteen so fucking much.
I don't.
You know what?
I don't hate
that.
him. I just hate the hype he gets. Like I don't know. He gets too much hype. People from Jersey blow him so much.
I
agree.
As often as I can.
He's great. He's a great songwriter. He has some amazing songs, but like I get it. I get why people love him, but like I'm not gonna not like the songs I like by the Boss. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, I'm not. And I'm not telling you to. I'm just
the American Bryan Adams.
You know what it was like for me. For me in college, I mean, Tom and then like all of his roommates, some of my roommates were from Jersey, and I have family in Jersey, and all they talk about is fucking Bruce. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about Bruce, all right? Like, I don't listen to that kind of music in general anyway, so I'm just like, you're barking up the wrong tree here.
Tom's just like, yeah, you should fucking come see the Beastie Boys, bro.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, it's a great track. Fucking rocks. There you go.
Nice. Shout out Bruce. Shout out the Boss.
You have a lot of built-up anger towards random shit, I've noticed, since we've been doing this.
I do.
Got super mad about Forrest Gump a couple episodes back.
Fuck that movie.
He was pissed.
I hold grudges.
Movie, you idiot.
It's a good movie, but it's not that good. I don't want to get into it again.
We're talking about different things. We're talking about this on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll get back to this on TNT time on our own clock.
Tune into TNT, the Forrest Gump debate.
Fuck Forrest Gump. Okay. My number one, I'm surprised no one said this, but Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the DMX rendition.
Nice. Very nice.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, come on. You know, like
the fact that he was able to fucking do that, like, just the fucking DJ interviewing him was like, asked him to do a Christmas song, and he fucking like actually remembered all the fucking reindeer names and shit. Was pretty fucking impressive.
Yeah, especially because at that time he was probably on all kinds of drugs. You know, like who knows what was going on in his head. But yeah,
did you ever hear it, Joe?
I'm sorry.
He does it you ever hear it when he does it live?
Yeah.
Dude, that shit is fucking sick.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer,
I know, it's fucking ad-libbing and shit.
Had a very shiny nose. Come on. But yeah, that actually surprisingly that was on Spotify, so that'll be on the playlist. I was a little worried it wouldn't be there, but there's like 4 versions of it on there somehow.
Boy!
But so maybe I'll put all of them on there. But all right, J-Mac, let's finish this off. What do you got? Your number one.
Bro, number one, and it's because growing up, like it wasn't Christmas time into my house until my mother basically watched this on repeat from like the day after Thanksgiving all the way up to Christmas. But Bing Crosby's White Christmas.
Nice.
That shit. White Christmas was a great fucking movie. I actually saw it like a year or two ago. They do like the flashback cinema shit. And they had it by the theater by me around Christmas time. I brought my mother there. You thought I would have fucking gave her like $1 million. How excited she fucking was to see that movie.
I never seen it.
What?
I'm kidding.
I've never seen it. I don't
think I've seen it either.
I've never seen any of those old
fucking
Christmas
musical
movies.
and shit, and it's from like 1940 or whatever. But it's you know. I mean, it's just, like I said, it's a nostalgia thing for me because I grew up, like I said, like it's my mom's jam. That shit was on the house all the fucking time growing up. and that's when you knew it was Christmas time, bro.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah,
I've never seen Miracle on 34th Street. I've never seen White Christmas. I've never seen what's the other old ones? March of the Wooden Soldiers.
Oh, that's a
you never
classic.
see March of the Wooden
Soldiers?
That's a fucking classic.
bro.
We might have an intervention right now.
The fucking call right now. I'm so mad at you. How the fuck you never see March of the Wooden Soldiers?
I just never have.
It's the greatest movie ever from the 1930s.
Wow.
It's up there.
Yeah.
It's fucking
They
awesome.
have Boogeyman in there. They got fucking Barnaby Jones or whatever his
But
name
I don't
is.
love him. Are you trying to make him?
They got the woman who lives in the shoe. They got Mary Bo Peep.
Three Little Pigs.
Mr. Sheep.
Oh,
Yeah,
Cat
I've never
Fiddle.
seen
They
it.
got all of them. It's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
gotta track that shit down and check it out. It comes on Christmas Day every year.
It's a horror movie at this
Is
point.
that it?
It's
Yeah.
a horror movie
No.
in this day and age. It's terrifying to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen that. What's the other one where the guy like is running in the streets?
Oh, Wonderful Life.
A Wonderful Lie. I never saw that one.
I was thinking of a Tom Cruise movie.
Oh, Vanilla Sky.
Any movie with Tom Cruise, you'll get that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't Eyes Wide Shut a Christmas movie? I can't remember.
Eyes Wide Shut is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, right.
Nice. Okay.
Actually, if you go on HBO Max in their holiday section, they have a section called Holiday-ish. And Eyes Wide Shut is in that fucking section.
That's probably got like
Eyes
Die
Wide
Hard
Shut,
also, right?
Die Hard,
Gremlins.
fucking
Gremlins.
the first Harry Potter movie because it takes place like during Christmas time.
Okay.
Sorcerer's
It is a
Stone.
joint. I'm gonna go ahead and say Gremlins is just a straight up Christmas movie. I don't
I
think
always
He gets him a
considered
gremlin for Christmas.
Yeah. It just got released in July.
Yeah, he fed it after midnight, like on Christmas, I think, and then fucking
Yeah.
it's like
Classic
number one
mistake.
rule, the only rule. Fucking idiot.
You had one rule.
which I still raise issues with because Mogwais are from fucking China. How does it know that it's fucking after midnight in America? Shouldn't it be set to China time?
Maybe it slept on the plane.
It all has to do with the circadian rhythm, you know. There's of their.
Fucking eat it.
Maybe it slept on the plane and woke up and got caught up on Eastern time. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll figure
you
it
saw
out.
it. You saw what happened.
Somebody email Joe Dante.
All right, so that's our Christmas songs. We will make the Spotify playlist that'll be up. You know, I'm glad we did this, you know, before Christmas, like a little bit before, you know, like a week before or whatever, so, you know, people can get play out of our playlist. We have anything to add before we move on?
I didn't put it on the list because it's depressing as fuck. And did you ever hear the song Christmas Shoes? The Christmas Shoes? It's like a fucking, I think it's called The People Do the Song. It's like a country song where the kid's going to buy shoes for his fucking mother that's dying so she'll look pretty when she meets Jesus tonight.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are they putting this on the radio at Christmas time?
My students told me about this song.
Just to end because it's so fucking depressing.
Jeez. Yeah. And what was the other one? Baby It's Cold Outside. That's a song that, like, you go back, you look at the lyrics now, it's kind of problematic.
That song got canceled.
A little bit Me
That one
Too-ish.
we got that one covered.
You know, she's like, "Did you put something in my drink? Baby It's
I know.
Cold
Yeah,
Outside." You don't wanna-
That was a rape song. That song was fucked up.
They just
Put something in my drink there. It's cold outside. Don't worry about it, all right?
that's a great scene in Elf when they're singing that shit while she's in the shower.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
shit.
I like me some Zoe Deschanel.
Fantastic movie. I actually watched Elf yesterday.
Nice. All right. So I guess
I got one. I guess. What do we call it again?
Honorable mention.
mentions.
Honorable
Honorable
mention,
mentions.
and that would be if we'd have to have Frosty the fucking Snowman, but by the Ronettes. So good. It's from that Ronnie Spector Christmas album that Darlene Love song was on, and a bunch of other stuff. Like, I don't know if you've seen the cover of the album, you'd probably recognize it. But yeah, freaking. I know we're not allowed to play it on TV on the thing, but we could show the cover, right? Can I show
We
the
can
cover?
definitely show the cover. Yeah, that's not.
Your background is eating it up, but you know,
How do I shut that shit off?
I don't know.
you know, you don't want to put it on it.
My before we move on, my honorable mention is "Come All Ye Faithful" Twisted Sister album cover. There it is. There's the
Nice.
cover.
That album cover. There you go.
Okay.
A Christmas gift for you.
I'm surprised we didn't have more overlap, to be honest, with these lists.
There's a lot of fucking Christmas songs.
I can't believe nobody had fucking Do They Know It's Christmas. That's like literally top dog, in my opinion.
I mean, they literally, I'm sure they got it there, but the fucking station down here that's playing Christmas music has been Christmas music without commercials since Thanksgiving Day.
Jeez.
No commercials.
No commercials. They do, like, they'll put like an ad in it, but like as one song is fading out and going into the next one, it'll be like, you know, go to Toyota. And that's it. You know, like
It's Toyota.
It isn't like a legit fucking commercial. It's just like
0%
like,
APR.
plug it something quick in between it.
Awesome.
Nice. Okay. So we'll move on. Get some Black Mirror talk going.
Yeah.
So Black Mirror, White Christmas. It's gonna be kind of hard to kind of talk about it without spoilers. We'll try to go a few minutes without the spoilers. Gist of the episode is two guys in a cabin. Tell me if you've heard this story before. John Hamm. I don't know the other guy. The other actor looks familiar. I couldn't put my finger on him, but basically it seems like one of these Walter White at the end of Breaking Bad situations. Oh shit, we lost Joey.
I was about to. There.
Okay, there he is. Okay.
I'm here. I'm just scratching the shit out of my hand, so I'm not on the screen like this, like a fucking little scratching monkey. Sorry.
Little scratching monkey.
So these guys they're in a cabin, kind of Walter White-esque, where it's like you can tell they've done something wrong and they're kind of hiding out, but you don't know exactly why yet. John Hamm making a delicious-looking Christmas dinner. It takes place on Christmas, hence the name White Christmas. And then they proceed while they're eating dinner to kind of go into like why they're in this situation. So we'll go with initial thoughts. Joey, what did you think?
Well,
sorry I interrupted you there.
it's okay. This was the first time watch for me, and
should we move? Should we come back to Joey?
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I was not expecting you to swing it over here at that moment.
Swinging it, switching it up, you know.
I thought it was fucking amazing. This was one hell of a ride, man. I had absolutely no inkling of an idea what this was about, except that I saw like the image that was like on Netflix once or something, you know, and it was like John Hamm sitting in like what looked like a white room or something. I guess it was him, at the scene with the cookie. And dude, this episode takes you through so many different facets of the human condition. It's unbelievable. Not to mention the technology aspect of it. You know what I mean? So, after like watching it and going through it a second time, it's one of those, it fits. Before we went on air, we started talking about Black Mirror, right? And Tom was talking about how he's seen only the episodes that you told him to watch. Mm-hmm. And every one he watched just blew him away. And, I mean, that's where I'm at, too, I've watched probably half of them, and all of them I've seen are great because we've been doing them for the show. So Jay's always like, oh, let's do this one, let's do this one. So he hasn't thrown the ones that suck, if there are any, out. But it's just top-tier fucking film. Let's call this filmmaking. That was like a movie, dude.
Yeah.
Hour and 17 minutes. You get 3 stories being told through the one main, narrative arc. I mean, it doesn't get... I'm like trying to find little plot holes. I got a couple questions I'll pose later on, but ultimately it's... I couldn't go to sleep. I was thinking about it. I was writing questions down, looking at interviews with Charlie Booker. I was just going off the chain. I was like just blown away, floored. Fantastic.
Nice.
We got to go into spoilers to really go into it, but yeah.
Yeah, I just figured we give our quick impressions, then we can hop into the spoilers. Tom, why don't you go next?
I have 3 thoughts written down. They don't exactly reflect my thoughts like hours later. I have genuinely unsettling. Asian! Exclamation point. Futuristic FBI, those cocksuckers. I thought it was really good.
Great. All right, J-Mac, hit me.
Bro, like I said on the first episode, Black Mirror, basically, like I said, majority of them that I think are like, there's a few that I'm like, just could take a leave. Most of them are really good, and then there's ones that are just like brilliant. Like, how did this come out of somebody's mind to make this happen? Typical Black Mirror thing in the first, however long, you kind of have no clue what the fuck is going on. And then once shit starts making sense, it's like, oh my fucking God, you start freaking out. But this is probably like, my top 3 Black Mirror episodes. So,
Tom, you got a question?
Did any of you guys think before you like found out what it all actually meant? Did you guys think that both of them were in purgatory? That was what I was thinking the entire time until you found out what like the ending was. I thought that both of them, he was like trying to get him to confess to his sin. Like I told you all my stuff. You tell me all yours, and you ask for forgiveness so we can get out of here. And then it turned out to be totally not even fucking close to that.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it before you know what you know at the end, that is an interesting take. I think you just like to throw that out there, though, for most.
I do that a lot.
They're in purgatory.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought they were just, like almost in. What's that shit where like the DC thing where the bad guys get hired to do good jobs? You know what I mean?
Like the Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Yeah, suicides. I thought they were just like these kind of like prisoners just got sent to go do a job in the Arctic because non-prisoners
exiled out.
Yeah. Like, instead of putting you in jail, we'll put you up in this nice little cabin in the fucking woods with this guy, and you guys entertain each other, have fun, but pump the oil.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I guess we'll just hop into the spoilers. We'll start talking about it because there's not much else we could talk about on the surface. So I guess we'll kind of break it up. We'll go with John Hamm's story first. So his reasoning for being in here was he ran this kind of like online club where he would give like dating advice because I guess they have what they call the Z eyes. So you could, you have like a chip like in your eye or whatever, so you could take pictures or like I guess stream it or whatever. So he was watching the people's stream and he would give them advice on how to pick up girls, and like other people would watch. It was like a whole club.
He was essentially the guy's consciousness. However the technology worked, he was just his consciousness through his eyes, it seemed like. He's just like, all right, you like this girl? I'll pull up the data on her. And then, like, this is what she does. This is how you should approach this situation. It's pretty interesting technology if that were proved. I would probably buy it.
You know what it reminded me of a little bit? Remember the Google glasses that came out, and then they made that scene in VHS where the kid went out and he had the glasses on and he brought the girl back and she turned out to be the siren. It reminded me of that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Except, now he's streaming it and but that kind of voyeurism, you know what I mean? Like people love that shit.
Down boy.
Oh man.
Yeah. No, it's it kind of reminded me of like a futuristic Hitch. That Will Smith movie where he's like giving people dating advice, like, so he goes to this Christmas party, which pretty bold move to just go to like a random office Christmas party to try and pick up girls. I mean, kudos, it worked, maybe it didn't work, I guess, depending on how you look at it, but he kind of zones in on this one girl that he likes, which, by the way, shout out, I forgot the actress's name, but she's from Game of Thrones. She plays the Wildling.
She's in Harry Potter too.
Okay. I always had kind of a thing for her. She's got this like wild streak to her. I don't know. But
she's blonde or the brunette? The brunette.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She was the wildling that the Starks took in, and like she helps like protect the.
She babysits the 2 younger Stark kids. Yeah. She's always with Hodor.
That's right.
Hodor.
She was a saint.
Not working today. Yeah. There you go.
Is this the girl who he set up the cookie for you're talking about? That's in Game of Thrones?
No. Well, she's in Game of Thrones too,
She's in Game of Thrones as well.
Which fun
But the
fact about
first
her?
girl-
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So the
girl-
Triple X girl?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's in Game of Thrones and Harry Potter. In Harry Potter, she's Tonks. In Game of Thrones, she's a wildling. I can't remember her name. Her real name is Natalia Tena.
She must have made a killing.
But fun fact about the other girl, real quick, the one that he set up the cookie for. Her name is Oona Chaplin, and she's Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter. Fun fact.
Oh, wow.
She's Hollywood royalty.
I thought she had a mustache.
Little Hitler stash.
But speaking of this girl, I in my head, and in my notes, I call her the Suicide Girl. You know the Suicide Girls?
Oh, yeah.
But you know, I'm like, what is this girl referencing? I went through so many different things from like, is she multiple personality, schizo? Is she talking suicide? And then like when she stood in the doorway and like had him wait, I was like, murder. And then all of a sudden that it's like that red light hits. You know what I mean? There's all this red, and there's like that one edit where it cuts to freaking John Hamm with the knife sharpening it, and you're like, dude, like you just felt that build up, and I was like, oh fuck, here we go, man, because you knew that kid, like it was not gonna go down, like from the get go, you knew it was gonna be a shitstorm. You know, John Hamm says it basically from the beginning, like, you know, it worked out great until this one time, you know.
Yeah, it was working out great until the guy he was talking to really fucked up and was talking out loud to him and the audience that John Hamm was talking to for like 2 minutes straight. So what's she going to do? Take a shit? She's going to like go touch up in the bathroom. You don't have 2 minutes to go talk to them saying like, I don't feel comfortable with you guys in my head, this and that. And then she thinks he's a schizophrenic and she's like, oh, he's just like me. Let's go do a fucking murder-suicide together, and we'll be happily ever after. It's his fucking fault, not John Hamm's, in my opinion.
Oh, shit.
I think it might be the girl's fault a little bit more than his, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, she was total bitch. She was a big bitch in that situation.
Yeah,
I got a quote from Charlie Brooker on how this whole episode originated from this idea, from this specific segment. Here's a quote from his interview. Really, the first story stemmed from an observation that literally everyone in the world had when Bluetooth headsets first became a thing. Walking down the street, you'd pass someone who seemed to be talking out loud to themselves, as if they had a mental illness, whereas they were actually conducting a hands-free call. It took a while to get used to, and I thought, could we do a story about someone with literal voices in their head encountering someone with delusional voices in their head? So that was like the basis of this.
Wow,
Yeah.
he must have been cooking that up for a while because Bluetooths were like kind of like mid 2000s, right? You know, so like this came out probably like 2017, 18 around then. So he's probably had this idea cooking for a while.
Yeah, I felt like the John Hamm part of the story was a complete attack on the Alexa machine for sure. Like if you were to take like the Alexa was invented by Jeff Bezos, was collecting people's actual souls and putting them into that device and then selling them off to people, you know?
Yeah.
They're not real. They can't be slaves.
But like
terrifying thought.
What I find phenomenal about this is it takes that, like the opposite of like Terminator, 2, where instead of them enslaving us, we're enslaving them, and what's the morality on that? You know what I mean? Like, and that shit I never really thought about. Like, what is the morality on this thing? Like, that's pretty wild.
That's a perfect segue, to be honest.
That's what the thing he says at one point, like, it's just code. You know what I mean? Like, fuck her, it's just code. It's not real, you know?
And that's when he's like, well, you must be a nice guy if you feel that way, that you think this is just nice code, and then you get the other prisoner's fucking part of the story. And that's just perfectly fucking done by the writer and director of this fucking show.
Yeah.
And one more question before we move on. Is it the same fucking writer and director for each episode, or is it different every single time? for Black Mirror.
I think it's he does most of the directing, or what is it? I don't
Broker,
even know.
he's written most of them, or come up with the ideas for them at least.
Okay.
And then like somebody, like the last one we did, Nosedive, it was his idea, but Rashida Jones and somebody else actually wrote the play, like the teleplay.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
In the interviews I was watching with him, he was like literally coming up with ideas on the spot, like talking about like technology. He's like, "Oh, you know what? That could be an episode right there in its own right. Oh, that's a good idea." He's like, dude, he's brilliant. This guy, like watching his interview, like I never really watched him really, talk and go into his ideologies and stuff, and it's just like, dude, now I get it. I get it, man.
There's one thing I do love about Black Mirror in general is so many of these episodes only get better on rewatches.
Yes, they do.
And when you don't know nothing about what's going on, that first scene, that first story, when they're coaching that kid to talk to this girl, and then after you find out what happens, and you go back and rewatch it, and everything he is saying is feeding into this girl's delusions. It's fucking brilliant how you could see from like two different fucking angles.
And he's getting voices in his head that he paid for, and she's getting voices in her head from playing schizophrenia.
But just like the whole thing of
playing
like,
schizophrenia, fun game.
It's just a trend.
My favorite game.
She's like, we're meant for each other.
With the whole thing, like, it's just a transition. We shouldn't be afraid of it. Just do it. And like you realize, like he's feeding into this girl's fucking hallucinations, and that these things telling her fucking
burying him with cyanide, though.
Yeah, and here you're just thinking he's just convinced her to quit her job, not her fucking life. Yeah. So he kind of got more than he bargained for with that. But yeah, no. So he drinks the drink and he gets killed, and she drinks the drink, and then John Hamm's like, wipe the hard drives.
She made that look a really good looking margarita, by the way.
It looked good, right?
It looked like a really tasty,
little salt around the rim,
margarita.
right?
Yeah, salt around the rim, frozen marg. I would have been like, fuck yeah, like let's go, dead. I would have been dead. Anyway,
all right.
Like I thought, when the episode started, like the way John Hamm is talking about like talking and communication, like. I'm thinking that was like going to be the main focus of this episode, but dude, it just tackles so many different things, so many different aspects, right? Like, I mean, I don't want to jump into like all the segments, but I mean, the range from, this little cookie thing, right? Like that thing alone touches on things like I said, the morality of the technology, but also how it's going to influence human beings. But then there's like, it talks about like questioning, childbirth and life and that kind of aspect later on, right? Like family dynamics is huge in this episode. You know what I mean? It's just like, dude, how can you range, through so many different things, right? The consumerism aspect of it, right? The fiscal part of it. You know what I mean? It's like your job, so like work is a theme here. You know what I mean? There's so many different, big picture ideas that they touch on in this episode, and I understand why it like got that special little intro, like Black Mirror White Christmas. Like this was a very special episode, and it's all connected too. Like if you really start to break down this episode, like it's connected through the white bear, right?
Yeah,
there's the white bear logo in there.
Yeah, even the guys who were watching. If you look at like their screen names, there's like one of them was like I Am Waldo. That's a throwback to the Waldo episode. That one of them, I forget the name of it, but it was like the name they would call the janitors in the 50 million merits or whatever, 50,000 merit episode. Something pigs, I forget what, but that was the dude's screen name. And there was another name in there that was like a Easter egg to the series.
Even the song that the girlfriend sings in the karaoke, that's the song that they sing in the 50 million merits episode when she does like the American Idol type show.
Yeah, that song appears in every season.
Yeah, it's all throughout. Right. Yeah,
that song is hauntingly beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But and that's like, look at their. I mean, now we're jumping all over, but like look at their relationship with those songs. I mean, his idea of that relationship is things are great, rock and roll, and her idea of that relationship is melancholy, fucking horrid beauty. You know, like, yeah, I could be content, but I'm gonna be like this my whole life if I stay in this marriage. You know,
Yeah, she's stuck loving the wrong guy.
meddling along in a fucking cloud. But yeah, I mean, it touches on all that kind of stuff, man. Sorry, I ain't going to it, babe.
No, I was just gonna say that's a pretty good segue. We could jump into the second story now. I think the other guy. What was his name, by the way? I don't even remember their names.
I don't know, but he was from that awesome fucking movie. Why did I think The Relic? The something.
Man.
Oh, The Ritual. That was a good movie.
Yeah,
really good.
That's the one in the forest, right? Like in Norway or some shit.
That Scandinavian forest.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I know what it was.
I wanted to say the white bear shit, right? So like, yo, the people who are punishing, right, are part of White Bear, right? So like, remember in that episode what her punishment was, right? And like what his punishment is in this episode, you know? So this is all connected somehow, and it's not definitive. Like, he doesn't give us, you know, the Easter eggs, right? But like, it's connected to at the same time, and it's like, how do we connect these dots, right? So, is it, what was it again? The zoo. What was it? What was it called?
It was
a park, not a zoo.
The White
Justice
Bear Park.
Justice Park.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? So, like, you know, it segues into that, right? Like, does the crime fit the punishment? And then for both characters, and that's something for us to discuss. You know, but let's segue into the next part, like Ant was going into, and then we'll round about to this again. I'm definitely sure.
Right. So I looked it up. His name is Potter. It's very fitting because he's British.
Potter.
So he's he kind of opens up. So apparently they've been in this cabin for 5 years. That's what we're told in the beginning. This is one of the first times he opens up to John Hamm, who is Matt Trent. And he starts telling his story. So, long story short, he has a girlfriend, I think it's a girlfriend, right? They're not married.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they were boyfriend and girlfriend.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I think so. Regardless, they
were together, and she was preggies.
Yeah. So she tells him he ends up kind of pressing her on the matter. She says she's pregnant. She doesn't want to keep it.
Well, he finds out because the garbage pail tips over, and he finds the pregnancy test in the garbage pail.
Right.
He was loaded. He was blessed and spilled the garbage over, and he found the positive pregnancy test. Like, this is you?
It's not what you want to find taking out the garbage at night, you know?
that would have been like, whoa.
Just take the garbage out and never come back.
Good milk, honey.
Little dump. It's a little dump.
It's a little dump. So he finds out, they get into a whole argument, and then in the middle of the argument, so apparently with these Z-Eyes that they have, there's a feature where you could block people, where they become all white fuzzy and you can't hear them, and she blocks him and just leaves, and he never sees her again.
For the audience, it would be like if I blocked tones, I would only see a static human being who would just be like,
sound like Charlie Brown's mother.
Exactly. So she blocks him, and then he ends up finding out down the line that she has the kid, and the kid is blocked too, so he can't even see his kid. And then, do we want to just
the block goes to like an offspring. So if a mother blocks you, like her kids are blocked from you too.
Yeah,
inherited blocks.
Exactly. Should I just go through the whole story and then we can talk about everything, or?
Sure.
I think you're almost there.
Yeah. Okay. So he has this ritual where every Christmas he goes to her father's cabin and kind of hides in the woods and just like watches them come in, just to kind of get a glimpse of the kid. And then eventually a couple years later, she dies in like a train accident, which is kind of wild. How many train accidents are there every year? And then because of that, the block is gone. He's finally able to see the kid. So he goes back the next Christmas to see the kid. Turns out, kid's Asian.
Believe it or not, I know somebody that was in that. I know somebody that was in that train accident a few years ago. Actually, like 10 years ago, probably.
Oh,
it was like in Philadelphia or something.
Okay, they're all good.
Yeah, he had like some PTSD, but yeah.
I would probably stop riding trains after that.
Yeah.
But
Just drive places now.
Right.
but yeah, so he finds out the kid's not his, and he kind of flips and he beats the grandfather to death with the snow globe.
I just want to say the level of shock that was on my face when he saw his kid for the first time. Just turn around. She was Asian. Like, I mean, that's why of my three things, the second one was Asian in all capitals with an exclamation point. Asian, not his.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because there was that moment when they were talking about the snoring, and they're like, yeah, when we were on our work trip, like they were talking about how he heard her snoring, or she heard him snoring, whatever it was, and I was like, that's suspect. Right?
Yeah, you could see it even when they were at karaoke. Yeah. He's kind of sitting behind her, and the way she's looking at him, and he looks at her, and that dinner, and even when the dude after he gets blocked and he tries to go to her job to talk to her, because the next morning he wakes up, he's not loaded anymore. He wants to have a conversation, but he's still blocked. He can't communicate with her, and to her, it just still seems like he's acting like a psycho because all she hears, all that fucking shit. And the what was it? Gita was his fiance. Mm-hmm. She tries to like go after him to check on him, and the Asian dude grabs her like, nah, chill, like just let him go.
Yeah, let him go.
We want this to go away.
I knew damn well the entire way I was not going to be surprised when he found out who his kid was. I knew it wasn't going to be his. I knew that was going to be the plot twist. I thought because she was chugging bottles of wine, like by the time he discovered his kid, like it was going to be like a mutant Ninja Turtle or something like that, like something like scary, he's building a snowman. And he comes up with a snow globe, and he like taps her shoulder, and she could turn around. I thought it was gonna be like a psycho-looking thing.
Like it was an Asian girl or something.
It was just an Asian girl, which is like totally fine. He just cheated on him. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I thought she like murdered the baby with like booze or something in pregnancy, and like didn't take care of it, and we were gonna have like a Rosemary's Baby situation or something. But no, he just got cheated on, and he fucking lost his shit. But you can continue. Sorry.
So like it goes back to that opening scene now that I'm thinking about it, to communication, because if she would have fucking communicated how she felt with the man and about the fucking, been honest about being cheating and not a kid, her dad wouldn't be dead. She wouldn't be dead because maybe she wouldn't have been on that train if things would have been different. And
I agree, you know 100%. 100%.
She's the fucking bitch in the end.
Yes.
But I understand why she did. I mean, he obviously had anger issues, alcohol issues, but those could be fixed.
In shows like this, you only act like that if you're holding a satanic baby, period. Not if you're cheating on your husband.
Really
if you're cheating on your husband, you're acting like a bitch. Plain and simple.
But so I want to get back to that. You talk about the communication issues. I mean, the fact that in this world, if you get into a confrontation with someone, you could just block them. You don't have to deal with that confrontation. You don't have to learn how to communicate that way. And that is something that I think people aren't, it's kind of like an art that people are losing, that art of communication. Because now you just go on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and like you're just screaming at each other in all caps, but you're not really communicating. You're not sitting down and having a conversation.
Generally, it's a progression of cancel culture as it is. I don't like what you're saying, so I'm just going to silence you. There's no
people get
discussion
off on that.
to be had. I just don't have to hear what you're saying.
It's the inability to deal with disagreement.
Yeah, your opinion makes me uncomfortable, so I don't want to listen to it.
When that kid is dying on that bed, and he tells all of them to, destroy all the evidence, and he's sneaking out, and the wife catches him like, what are you doing,
Dude, how about that clumsy job of fucking tripping over every goddamn toy? Right?
Goddamn kids don't clean up the toys.
But
he dodged like 4 toys and hit the loudest one at the end with all the evidence and just poured it all over the fucking stairs.
You start thinking something was up, because as John Hamm is telling the stories, the cabin, if you notice, started changing. Like, it's hard to notice unless you're looking for it. But all of a sudden, he's like, that clock wasn't always there. He's been there for 5 years. As these stories are going on, he's starting to remember something's up. Yeah. He sees the clock. If you look, there's a
door slam.
Yeah, the door slam was what was that? And he was like, we just kept talking like nothing happened. Mm-hmm. But it was probably his cell door slamming. You know what I mean? Right. Mm-hmm. But there was a first aid kit on the wall. and they come back a few shots later, and now there's a Noel sign in front of the first aid kit.
Yeah.
So it's like the cabin started getting decorated for Christmas like it was at the time when he claps the old man with the snow globe.
Yeah.
And
you know, it's funny that when the episode started and the snow globe was there, I was like, that snow globe's, you know, that was Chekhov's gun right there, bro. Your boy Chekhov.
No, I was going to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but by the end, isn't like the cabin they're in like basically where he killed the grandfather?
Yeah.
It's like the same.
What
So
it started turning into that day. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Started like getting familiarized with it. Ugh, fucking that shit was fucked up. But
dude, it's like, it's so crazy how it makes you feel it in the pit of your stomach, like the anguish and the torture in that last scene, like the way it's like filmed, you know what I mean? Like where it's like coming in and out of the snow globe, and it's just like the song's playing and he's going nuts, and in that moment I'm like, holy shit, you know, as much as I love Christmas music, I understand why people hate Christmas music. Like, you know, if it was like that, you know, and you know, like I've been behind a jail cell before, and it is not a good feeling at all. And it's not been for that long, longer than like 2 days, you know. So it's like, dude, holy shit, I can't even imagine.
You know, it's kind of
years
per minute.
1,000 years a minute.
Yeah,
it was 1,000 years a minute.
And they left him for the weekend.
Yeah,
and they left him for the weekend. I mean, that cookie, whatever you know you want to call it, basically a cloned consciousness of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, it's gonna be just a pile of mush by the time they get back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
It's
you
like,
saw
all
what
right,
happened when he left her for 6 months in the other one. John
Yeah,
Hamm,
she was freaking out.
Yeah.
Isolation. She couldn't deal. She comes back, she's all disheveled as fuck.
Yeah,
her hair
yeah.
fucked up and shit.
That was my favorite part of the entire episode, if you ask me. Like the fact that, like, if you look at as much power as he had over her, when he's like, "How do you like your toast?" and cooks it, and he's like, she fails to comply. All right, put you for 6 months. For him, it's literally 20 seconds, and then she comes back that much time later, and she's like, "Don't do that again, please don't do that again." He's like, "All right,
Do whatever you
comply
say."
this time.
Yeah.
But the second time she was like, "No, I can't do that. I can't do that." He's like, "All right, we'll do 3 years this time." And she's like, "No." And it's just 3 years that it takes a minute for him, and then she comes back and she's a slave.
Yeah.
It's like it's nuts. It was at no cost to him. It's like, "Oh, I'll do this as long as it takes for you to comply."
And that's the thing. He says something like, you gotta break them. You can't like break them. You have to like push them to the edge to get them to comply. But like, all right, say he overdid it and he comes back and she's now incapable of controlling all that shit. She's just, you know, out of her mind, and she's fucking burning toast and opening windows and shit for no fucking reason.
Which
Put the
made
lights
John
on.
Hamm.
They become cannon fodder, he said.
It made John Hamm such a sinister character because he had the perfect dial of how to drive a person absolutely perfectly mad to work for a consumer.
But say he breaks her there, does that girl have to go through the operation again to get the cookie taken out of her head, or is that code copyable once it's out? You know what I mean?
I'm guessing they would have the code somewhere. So
I think
just cut it
it's
to
like-
someone's head.
It had that vibe where he was like, it doesn't matter because you signed away something on a waiver where we have lawyers where you signed away shit that you didn't read well enough where I can push you to wherever I want. If it doesn't work, it's just a failed experiment. And then, like, if you just a broken down, whatever broken bot, then we'll just keep you there. You're just gonna.
You know what I just thought about? What's if that's his clone consciousness? What's the point of punishing that?
Sinister
Just
power
sadistic,
dominance
yeah.
agenda.
Yeah, it's just sadistic. I mean, they were able to
Being
sit there
a
and listen
piece of
to
shit.
it talk and all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? They were observing the conversation because remember, like, he spoke out. Like, once he got the confession, he was like, "I got it. I'm coming out." You know?
Yeah.
So they have to be able to record what's happening in that thing and listen to it. My thing too is like, you know, John.
No,
Hamm said,
but
"Dude's
you know
been
what
there
I'm
for
saying?
5
Like,
years."
like if the person in reality is there, right, like in the jail cell, right, and the cookie is on the desk, they're two separate things.
Yeah.
Like she's in her house, and her cookie doesn't have any kind of control over her or anything. You know what I mean?
No.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's just like an Alexa meets the metaverse kind of weird shit. You know what I mean? Something like that. I don't know.
It's a technology that's able to duplicate your consciousness and put it into an Alexa, and that Alexa is your consciousness that's just trapped in that device. That's it, and it can see you without you even knowing that surgery ever happened.
Right, but is it your consciousness? If it's a copy of your consciousness, or is it your consciousness continued?
It's your consciousness continued.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like basically, because remember when they first take it out, she's like, what are you doing? How, like, why am I out of my body? Like, it starts freaking out because it thinks it's
She's
a
like,
lot.
put me
Like,
back.
you've seen the Star Trek episode.
The
I've never seen
USS Callister.
Yeah,
the Star Trek episode. Yeah.
Yeah, the USS Callister. In that, it's the same kind of deal. Like, the clone doesn't know that it's not a real thing. You know what I'm saying? It feels it's basically, you know, you without your body.
Yes.
Right, but in that episode, the clone has a totally different consciousness than whoever it was cloned from. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But in this, if the consciousnesses are like that, then it's like you're torturing a totally different person in a way, a totally different consciousness. If it's just a copy, you know what I mean? That consciousness is a copy. It didn't do anything.
No, the living
You know what I'm
physical
saying?
person is not going to know what you're doing to that thing.
Right.
That
So
thing
what's
thinks
the
it's
point?
real.
Just being a
Because
sick
it thinks
fuck.
it's real and it's just a power trip, bro. You could just fuck with stuff.
You know, it doesn't make sense. Like, as far as, like, if the white bear is punishing a consciousness, you know what I mean? Unless, like, he was being tortured somehow, his actual physical body, or again, if that, like, say, you know, like, right before you die, they take your consciousness and put it in the cookie, and it's your actual consciousness continued, I could understand that. But if it's a copy of your consciousness, right? It's, you know what I mean? It's like
You're
a
still
separate
going to
entity.
feel it. You're still going to feel it. That's the point. Like, if they steal it and put it into this pod, and it's just like telling, like, hey, Alexa, do you tell me what the weather is today? But in a really extreme way, like, you know, tell me what my agenda is today, like, tell me what my chores are and stuff. That's what it was. And she can feel every single bit of it. That's why she was begging to be put back in her body. But after being tortured for so long, she has to watch her self being put out of her body just marching around, and her actually telling herself what to do. Remember, she's like living in the house with John.
That's the morality clauses. Are these things? Are they deserving of rights? You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. So look, her consciousness got tortured, right? But her physical entity and that consciousness wasn't tortured. You know what I'm saying? No, because we see her and she's happy doing yoga and shit.
Yeah, she's fine. The original one is fine. The thing is that consciousness doesn't. I'm trying to figure out how to.
Do you know what I'm saying though? Like, do you know what I'm saying?
It's like making a clone of you that's not you. Like, it's not a physical thing. It's just what your brain thinks. Like, it has all your memories, all your shit. Will probably make the same decisions and the same thing that you will in the future. So that's its own fucking
It's
thing.
like Multiplicity with Michael Keaton.
Yeah. You know,
actually saw that in the theaters.
Doing that to the consciousness was just like a sadistic, like, I'm gonna be a dick and destroy this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
because
what it
that
seems
consciousness
like.
feels
Sadistic.
things. You know,
because think
you
about
saw
it,
how
right?
emotional it got when he was telling the story and he started crying and all that shit. Like, there was remorse there.
Think about it like this, right? The girl, you know, yoga girl, right? In the real world, right? And then there's her consciousness in the cookie. The consciousness gets tortured. In the real world, she's absolutely fine. She doesn't feel any of that. So just imagine him in the real world in a cell, right? His consciousness in the egg being tortured. Just like her in the real world is fine, him in the real world is fine. He's in his cell. He's not, you know what I mean? He's not being tortured.
It's not a punishment to the physical person. It's a punishment to that thing. But that thing thinks it's real.
Yeah.
Joey, you're being a sadistic slut.
Yeah, I think you're like over fucking thinking.
Why don't you go torture a Furby?
Yeah, no, I mean they're torturing essentially nothing.
Just go verbally abuse Siri.
That's the point. You're the bad guy in this.
Like, if anything, they should be torturing him.
But they can't.
But
they can't because there's like human rights and stuff.
He's a full human being. He has rights. Yeah. Like John Hamm said, it's just code fucker. Like, it doesn't matter that that's a... Just because it has a physical body doesn't mean it doesn't have the same feelings as it would in a physical body. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I want to bring something up real quick. You guys have seen Ex Machina?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and when it comes to AI in general, like the big debate is like, you know, if it has consciousness, is it like the same as a human or whatever? But this is like the opposite, where it's just a consciousness. You know, so it's like, should that be considered a person? Because it thinks and it feels like a human. But, you know, it's kind of like a reverse Ex Machina kind of spin on things, I thought.
Yeah, without a physical body, just because it doesn't have a physical body. All right, if you're wearing a glove and I pull the glove off your hand and put it on the side, and then I smash your hand with a sledgehammer, is it like, oh, the glove didn't get hurt?
It's an O.J. Simpson reference.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, the glove is going to be fine, but your hand is not going to be feeling too hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I would be upset if it happened to me. That's my stance. If I was like sitting there and like
there's another episode
and I was in the position where I was like, put me back, I'd be like pissed.
There's another episode that we're going to get to eventually that will probably give you a better understanding of this shit.
I'm just
because you know have a clone of yourself. If the yoga girl gets hit by a fucking bus crossing the street the next day, or breaks her fucking neck trying to do a headstand or some shit, that consciousness is still her and living on.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So if that consciousness is being tortured, the physical entity isn't. And so what's happening with his physical entity?
Nothing. It's just
nothing.
fucking. Well, now
it's just in jail,
Yeah.
and that's just a separate thing showing how.
Separate thing, but because it's attached to the whole Justice Park White Bear thing, who knows that he's not going to end up in one of those parks as a fucking amusement attraction?
Right.
You know, like they made those connections.
It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
I have nightmares tonight.
It's like a virtual eternity of suffering while in solitary confinement.
Yeah, that's a great way of actually putting it. That's
exactly.
Yeah. Now,
so
let me. Sorry, I want to pose a kind of change the thing. I think we got the consciousness aspect covered. I think we talked about that enough. I want to get to the actual like the criminal justice part of it. You know.
Sure.
You know, actually, the act of them, you know, extracting your consciousness against your will and using that against you. It kind of reminded me of there was another episode. Was it Crocodile or something like that?
Crocodile.
Yeah, Crocodile was that Russian drug that was like turning people into zombies.
Right. But so yeah, I mean, like that's because, you know, now under the rule of law you need physical evidence or confession, right? But somehow they're able to use this technology to extract your consciousness and use that to get a confession. Now, that's some scary shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's surveillance of your mind.
Yeah, like nothing's safe at that point.
Nothing is safe at that point. I mean, if they could literally tap into your brain, I mean, you know, under different circumstances, you could fool anybody into anything once you're in that situation.
Yeah, and who knows, you could even like implant ideas into their brain.
Especially if they're able to build a world around you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they could pull your conscience out and stick you in a strip club and have all these chicks climbing all over you, and you'll fucking tell them, you know, you sunk Titanic just to get one at that fucking point. So
we got him.
So, you know, do these crimes fit the punishment?
No.
You know.
Well,
See,
see,
it's a complete abuse of power. It's terrible.
see, well, I'd be curious to see what was it, Potter was his name, what his punishment is, because his duplicate consciousness definitely has an extreme punishment, which is way too severe in my mind. But it depends what he does to him. But I guess we could get into the John Hamm punishment. Right.
You're banned from everybody, from humanity.
Right.
You get to go live, but everybody you see is one of them static little beings.
So what happens is, you find out at the end that, I'm guessing the John Hamm story was mostly true, because otherwise he wouldn't be there doing this for the cops anyway.
This was his way of his was like his plea deal.
Right.
Yeah.
So he gets a confession out of this guy in the metaverse or whatever you want to call it. And they're like, oh, yeah, you're not going to do jail time, but, you're on the sex offenders list. And we were talking about people who are blocked and they're like all fuzzy. Well, I guess sex offenders are red fuzzy, so you really know to stay away from them. But yeah, no one can talk to him and he can't talk to anyone, which, you might even argue like what is worse, spending, a few years in jail, or you just can't interact with anyone for the rest of your life besides sexual deviants.
Would you guys rather go to jail for 5 years, hard time, or go knock on 100 doors and tell them that you raped a 12-year-old? Even if you didn't do it, obviously. That, of course, didn't happen. That's your punishment.
I'm glad we specified
you had to
there.
say you're a sex offender. That's the thing. I'm a registered sex offender. I live next door. You want to hang out tomorrow?
See, that's tough, because if you're a sex offender in prison, I mean, I don't know, you could ask J-Mac, you'd know better than I would, but...
I'm not saying that J-Mac's a sex offender.
No, not saying that, but he worked in a prison.
No, I mean, that's like it's just, you got a target on you. If you're in there for a sex crime, that's just what it is. Like, dudes just trying to get a rep are gonna fuck you up,
Is he on is it definitely sex crimes? Because I know they said like peeping toms, but I was thinking maybe it was just like about the visual, the way they said it. How like things mean different in British.
I mean, they didn't clearly specify. But
the tip-off was probably when he was talking about his whole story and saying, like, you turned it off when he was about to actually have sex with the girl, right? And he was like, oh, of course, absolutely, I have morals. And then they cut back to the flashback, and he's absolutely balls in on what's about to happen. With a bunch of dudes on another computer screen. They're just like, oh, dude, he's about to get laid in the first date. No way.
And who knows what if all those guys have taken turns going on fucking dates, and he's been there coaching all of them through it, how much stuff did he have logged back in his computer of him seeing,
Yeah.
Yo, but like, in the real world, people get like fucking slaps on the wrist for shit like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like this is those, like the Duke frat boys, the Duke lacrosse team. That just like, what was it? They like.
Yeah, but I think that girl was lying.
Oh, okay.
She was full of shit. Yeah.
Okay. But there's other.
They didn't put all that in the news as
Yeah.
much as they did that. All these kids were a bunch of rapists, but. Fucking it turned out that girl was lying.
Okay, but you do hear about that stuff about like people accused of rape and they get off with like probation or whatever.
The thing is,
we know somebody who got hit by a car, died, and the guy like got fucking a slap on the ass, bro.
I don't even think he got like 6 months, if that.
6 months in jail and never allowed to come back to the neighborhood. Like, what the fuck kind of sentence is that? Never allowed to come back to the neighborhood. What the fuck?
What if there's a good pizza joint? That's a big deal.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's
unbelievable, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy, but yeah.
Like drunk driving. Not even like I accidentally ran someone over. Like drunk driving ran someone over.
Must have a good lawyer.
Yeah,
it's about who you know.
Who you know. The courts are so backed up. If it's a first time offense kind of thing, you've never been in trouble before. They're just trying to speed your ass along and move on to the next. Fucking. But talking about the punishment, if you think of it, John Hamm basically, his character almost gets the same punishments as the things that he did. Like him and the dude. Hopper, whatever, was Potter or Hopper? Potter. All right, Potter, had a girl. thought he had a kid, lost them. John Hamm, his wife, blocked him. He never gets his wife and daughter back. So they're gone. He puts, they show him putting the cookie in that thing. That girl is trapped in a room. She could talk, but she's trapped in that one room. She could talk to him. She could interact through the fucking Alexa thing. He has freedom to walk around, but he can no longer talk to anybody. So it's almost like the inverse thing happens to him,
Right. His punishment is he can't, he's a consciousness stuck. He can't walk around versus this guy who can walk around and can't talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's no voice. Who's he going to talk to, Even think about it. The other criminals they're probably red blurs too. Like, you just like two red blurs hanging out. Hey, want to smoke a doob tonight? All right. Two red blurs.
I have no idea what you're saying. They're just like mumbling at each other. Like, dude, I don't know what you're saying, but like we're both sexual predators. We're gonna stick together.
Like, you can't just like write notes, like you'd have to hold up a little sign. Yeah. Think about it. How
a little
you
whiteboard.
I fucking get food at that point. Like you're gonna go to the fucking restaurant, like, like
Uber Eats, bro.
Yeah, nah, it's the future, bro. You just touch screen it.
Press a button. It's a pill that comes out. Ooh, tastes like steak. Fucking. Also, if you remember when he's telling that kid, he's coaching him, and he tells him at first to ignore the brunette girl, and he says, what was it? People don't like being ignored. They don't like to feel invisible. Well, now he's fucking invisible, basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah. That's why these second watches for these things are so important, because it's all that little shit that you don't fucking realize,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And especially
like,
watching it back. No, I was gonna say watching it back, like especially looking at like the relationship with his girlfriend and the Asian guy. You start picking up on little things, like all that kind of stuff. The second, third time through, you start to notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I didn't notice the first time that scene in the karaoke. Like my antennas did not go up at all. But like when you watch the scene again, it's obvious.
Like I've only seen it one time around that karaoke scene. The only thing I took away from it was how dejected she was and how wasted he was. Yeah. I didn't notice anything else that was happening. I could just tell that there was probably some riffraff going on in the relationship.
Well, that's the thing too. Like a lot of people villainize her, because she cheating, got pregnant by a different.
Are you calling me a sexist?
No, I'm just fucking. But the thing is like, like the dude you see at the karaoke bar, makes a fucking buffoon of himself. Has to get like dragged out of the fucking place. That night he found the thing, he only found it because he was drunk and fucking tripping over shit. So like, and then even the way he interacts with her, he starts yelling some brutal shit at her. Like, there's a lot of reasons a girl could not want to have a baby. It isn't always because she got knocked up by an Asian guy. So like when she's you're just boyfriend and girlfriend, you're not married, who knows what, like where you're at in life. Maybe she's not ready to have a kid, especially now, women, they got jobs, like, kids fucking back you up.
Let them out of the house now.
Oh, sure. Bro, she has every right to not want to have a kid. But, look, like we said in the beginning, the whole blocking thing, it's just so easy to shut a person out. Right? Exactly. And by shutting him out and not communicating to him, all that shit happens.
But also he fucking, as soon as he gets blocked, maybe he wouldn't have did it if he didn't get blocked. They showed he had, it seemed like he fucking enjoyed drinking a bit. But, like, he flings that flower pot across the fucking room and shatters it all over the fucking bed.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
To me, if I'm dealing with a drunk dude who might be, like, kind of fucking violent, I'm not going to block him. I want to see what that bitch is about to do or hear what he's saying. Because you could just be standing there looking at that thing mumbling, and he's like, I'm about to go in the kitchen and get a fucking knife and cut your fucking head off, bitch. Yeah.
Like... So that was the question I was going to have. When you block the person, like, what about
exactly
physically hitting them? Yeah, like, can you still punch him in the fucking head?
I guess it wasn't like, what they gonna lock up? Like, I don't think that shit was had. It just stops you from seeing or hearing them, and them seeing or hearing you.
It's just bizarre.
No, you're absolutely right. She had, within her right to react a certain way to these things, but like, maybe the next day unblock him and have a conversation about it, because he also has like, he deserves to have that conversation instead of just being completely, especially when he thinks the kid is his.
Yeah, well, he already makes the comment, like, when he's that drunk and he says the thing about, oh, so you're just going to kill it or whatever, like, because it doesn't fit your thing. Like, if this girl's already struggling with the idea she can't have this kid, because like, even if they break up, she's still about to have a kid by a guy who just got engaged to another woman.
Mm-hmm.
How much did the Asian dude know that kid was his? Like, why was he so quick to tell the Gita girl, like, yo, chill, don't go talk to him.
Yeah.
Let's let this shit blow over. Did he have any idea that baby was his? Like, she just picks up and leaves. The father talked about what a hard time she was having and shit. She had to believe everything. Like, that's a fucking big... If he didn't say that, maybe she would have went ahead and, canceled the shit.
Well, it could just be like the motherly instincts. Like, in that moment in the beginning, a lot of mothers don't want to have the baby or they want to give it up. But by the end, it's like, it's my child. It's like your motherly instincts kick in,
Mm-hmm.
So she, she wanted to get rid of it through it all. But by cutting him out, being pregnant, accepting it, okay, I'm going to just ghost everybody and move on with my child. But again, the line of communication was broken again by her father. If he would have delivered the letters to her, she would have had an idea of what was going on with him and be like, sorry, here's the kids. At least get a fucking Asian girl in the fucking mail instead of in your face,
Yeah, there should have been at least some form of communication. So they're just cutting them out completely. That's what I'm trying to say.
But that's
the thing. They're all at fault here.
Yeah.
They're both at fault.
Again, I'll stress it again, and then I'm done. But I thought it would have been a little bit cooler, even though it was an incredible episode, if it was more of a Rosemary's Baby situation. I thought it would have been cooler. They were really hiding it from him for, as sick as it sounds, sinister reasons for raising a child.
Sinister child.
We'll let Charlie Booker know. We'll run it by him for next Christmas.
Send him a memo.
Thanks.
Yeah, we got a direct line to Charlie. No big deal.
Yeah. But it's again more dynamics in relationships. You get marriage, you get children, you get all these different things wrapped up in this episode, right? That are tied to it all. This is all tied together, man. We're on the cusp of. Like right now, we're doing this on Zoom, not Zoom. We're doing this on Skype, right? Like I teach class, right? And it's on Zoom, and there's like me and 20 people, and then we're gray boxes. But like pretty soon, we're going to have headsets on and be in like an actual virtual classroom. You know what I mean? And you're going to design your own avatar the way you want it to look and sit there, Bro, similar to like this, build the room like that he built it, and they're wearing the clothes that they put on this guy. Except you'll have the freedom to choose it all.
Do you still have students? Do you have students who fart in class even virtually, or is that only a face?
They're really good about muting their asses.
Damn, that's a shame. I mean, like that's just my opinion. I mean, I feel like that's a culture deal in a classroom. Like if somebody farts like day 2 of class after first meeting their teacher. And you loosen kids up, you laugh, get over it, move forward. That's a big deal. You can't get that in virtual. A virtual class is such a deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get too many farts.
Yeah. Just one. One fart. One fart from one
set
class clown. For the kids to laugh. All right, let's proceed and move on with a lesson plan.
Everybody's just waiting throughout the whole class for the fart to drop. Like, when is the fart gonna drop?
I think you should.
Would you yell at the student, or would you like what are you doing in my class, farting here? Would you get mad, or would you say it's all right?
I'd say don't let your stomach hurt for anybody.
You know what? You should set the tone, and you should fart in class.
I've talked to my class about this before. Society's society's dictated this. I mean, we all shit, we all fart. Why is it got to be such a fucking oh my god!
Pick on a random student.
What the fuck?
What's your rip ass?
When was the last time you shit?
When's the last time you went to the can, huh? When'd you get up and go?
Well, there is like a sense of shame behind it. You even see it in animals. Like, you ever see a dog taking a shit and they like look up at you like,
oh yeah,
like they're embarrassed.
It's the whole
like,
trust thing.
Yeah, it's
so,
I don't know what it is, but it's like, yeah, it's something that everyone does. I mean, everyone drinks water, everyone breathes, everyone shits, but it's like for some reason shitting and pissing is like, you don't do that in front of other people. Which I guess it's like sanitary reasons. I get that, but like I don't like.
It's true.
It's just weird. Yeah, I don't know. I actually heard in China, like if you go to the mall, sometimes people just like pop a squat and like shit in the open.
What?
Yeah, I've heard.
Seen that thing they were talking about, like the government is actually trying to like get people to stop doing that shit because so much of it's just like living out in villages, and as like the cities grow, like they're just used to being like, oh, gonna squat on the side of the curb and just dump in the middle of the street.
No wipe, just
They're
get up
trying
and
not to
walk
scare
away.
away like Western investors and shit.
We get screamed at for grilling cheeseburgers.
Who's screaming at you for grilled
they're just
cheeseburgers?
They're taking poops out of the street over there in different countries. Like, you know, we have to collectively gather ourselves for climate change.
I mean, I don't know when the last time you were in Manhattan, but dude, people are shitting all over the sidewalks.
Are they?
Yeah.
I heard
It's fucking disgusting.
in San Francisco there's an app that like I guess like people see a shit and they'll like mark it on the app with the GPS locator so you know how to avoid all the shits. Like you're walking down the street, it's like, okay, there's a shit on like, you know, Cable Street over there. I'm gonna avoid that, you know.
Should we go to El Capitan again tonight, honey? I don't know. There's 16 shits on the way.
Might have to take a detour.
We'll take an Uber.
Take an Uber tonight. Too many landmines out there.
Yeah.
Well, boys, I love talking to you tonight, but it is 11:15. I'm 30 years old now, so I have to go to bed soon. So
you old motherfucker, you.
I know, right? I know you guys are way older than I am, but
Tom, like I'm the baby here. You're supposed to like come here and bring some like youth and vitality into this, and here you are trying to go to bed. But no, I do think. I mean, is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about episode wise? I mean, I feel like we kind of covered a lot.
I could keep going, dude. Let's talk about the duality of their attire when it's the girl, yoga girl in her, right? Like she's got the white like yoga out, you know, doing her yoga on, and the other one's got the dark, you know, outfit, right? I mean, the lightness and the darkness contrasting.
All right, hold on. So, Tom, you wanna head out? You wanna make your exit?
Are you guys gonna keep going for a while?
I don't know. You never know where this is gonna go.
Joey could go all night, but
yeah. I'm out.
Okay, well, Tom, it was great having you. I appreciate. I know this is a little past your bedtime. I appreciate you staying with us.
Yes, Tommy. Thank you, bro.
No problem. Love you, boys. See ya.
Take care.
All right,
Be well. Sweet dreams. Yeah.
So, okay, you were talking about the duality of the clothing.
The juxtaposition.
The juxtaposition. You know, she aspires to have that, you know, tranquil life, right? You see her trying to, like, you know, wellness, right? Wellness. And she's got, like, that kimono, like, robe going down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what's her name? The costume designer in this episode, she has a quote where she says, Greta's costume was made of neoprene, a fabric that is used to make diving suits, a man-made, robust, practical substance that fits perfectly into the world that has been created for her, right? So, like, she has, you know, you have the kimono, right, attire versus that man-made material, what's it called again? Neoprene. Somebody was talking about that recently. I forget who. Because I'm in the market for, like, you know, Under Armour for, like, you know, playing outside basketball, like, you know, like the tight shit.
Yeah.
I think it might have been my cousin.
I thought you were going to say you were in the market for a diving suit.
No, just the way he said for playing outside. I just pictured him like, I don't know, like kicking a can down the street. What the fuck?
Oh, shit, man. That's funny, bro. That's fucking funny. You know? And so, yeah, you have, you can, the visual, especially like the way they present this to us, like the camera angles on here, like how she's lower and he's higher, he's like giant, she's small, and all that, right? All that, John Hamm, the way he has the knife, he's talking to Potter and everything. It all makes him so sinister, right? But by the end, when he walks out into the crowd, that red blur, you just like you feel for him. The empathy, it kicks in. It's like, he did some fucked up things, but I mean, what? This is, you're.
It's like getting back to does the punishment fit the crime?
Right.
It's like, he did some fucked up things, but like to just be a complete pariah from society and not able to start fresh. I mean, do they ever say if this is like a permanent thing or if it's like a temporary, like a sentence kind of thing? I don't think they say.
It seems permanent.
Yeah.
I thought it was permanent.
Okay.
Yeah. I forget. She says something when she's like, something about like you're free to go with conditions. And then he's like, what conditions? And she's like, you're on whatever list and you're blocked from everybody. He's like, from who? He's like, from everybody. And I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough. It's tough. I mean,
it is tough.
Like we said, like how do you do your daily things? Like how do you, like let's say you got to go to the gas station. You got to tell the guy I need 20 on pump 3. You can't do that. How do you do that? How do you order food? How do you? I mean, he's divorced now. He's got to find a new girlfriend or wife. How do you do that? You got to find another sexual predator.
You're banned at that point. At that point, they might as well just, stick him in a fucking cabin in the middle of the Arctic,
Yeah. Well, I was even thinking while, like, when I saw what the punishment was, I was like, how much was the jail time alternative? Because I would almost rather take that and just serve my sentence and come out and be able to live a normal life than doing that shit for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I don't think that's even an option.
Well,
it's just extreme.
Well, see, they played him. They're like, oh, yeah, if you help us get this confession, we'll cut you a deal. Who knows what the prison time he was supposed to have.
I forget, because she says something to him at one point. I forget the actual thing, but, like, something about, the peeping Tom and then also, failing to report a murder. So if they're going to start piling shit on top of it, dude isn't like he's fucking a young guy. Do you want to fucking go into prison at, in your 40s and not get out until you're 70? Yeah.
Like I said, it depends on the jail sentence. But if it's like 5 years, I'd almost rather take that versus the other punishment.
Did you guys notice when they first, they're talking and he's like, we've been here 5 years and you've barely said anything to me. And she's like, why don't you ask me what I did or whatever? And the guy was like, well, what were you in marketing? And I was like, I wonder if they put that in there because John Hamm was in Mad Men. If it was like,
the marketing thing?
Because it was him. Yeah, the marketing thing. Like,
that was definitely like an
Easter egg. Like an Easter egg thing, or if it was just like that was what was in there and it just so happened to be,
Absolutely. That was definitely, like, even the delivery of it was just so, like, obvious.
Winky.
That was funny. Yeah, I like that part. Yeah, man. It's just like, John Hamm is stuck in hell on earth, and the copy of Joe's conscience is stuck in hell in digital world. Yeah,
I mean, he's stuck there. I mean, one, he looks out the window. We forgot to mention this. The little girl dies. So I don't think I mentioned this. So after he kills the grandfather, he leaves, and the little girl is just in this cabin in the woods by herself, and she ends up wandering out and dies in the cold. So he's stuck in this cabin, looking out the window at the girl's dead body, and then he has this Christmas song that's just stuck on loop, and every time he tries to break the radio, it comes back louder and louder, and he's stuck in there for thousands and thousands and millions of years, honestly, because it's the whole weekend, right? It's the whole weekend at 1,000 years a minute. Weekend. I don't even want to do the math on that. That's terrifying to just have that music blasted in your head, like looking at, reminding you of all the terrible things you did. I mean,
it makes me think about, like, they torture the consciousness. It's like, that's just like you said, a sadistic little bonus. But like when they come back from the holiday, right? What happens next? Do they put that egg? It looks like an egg, but I know why they call it cookies, because of our cookies on our
data and stuff.
You know,
Yeah,
it stores it all on our browser, just like it stores it all in that. So yeah, I get it, but looks like an egg. So like, will that cookie be punishment? You know, that punishment. It was just them doing that. That's not the permanent punishment, right? That was just them getting off on this, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, at that point, I don't even know what you would do with that consciousness. Like, just delete it after the fact. Like, well, especially after they come back for the weekend, it's got to be.
Yeah. Unless, well, what do you say with the other one that when, like, if they turn into, you know, mush, they use them as fodder for like
video games or whatever.
Video games or whatever, war games or something. So who knows? Maybe, I mean, is the FBI going to do that, or are they just going to hit delete when they come in and get rid of it? But I'm sure it costs them money to pull the thing out of the dude's head, so they want to benefit off it somehow. They'll just sell it off to, you know. It's kind of like, remember those bodies exhibits? And it turned out that they were all like fucking prisoners from China that nobody... You ever remember those bodies exhibits where they literally would, like, you'd walk into a place and it was like... They would show like the whole skeletal system of a human being and the muscular, like they'd have basically real bodies that were like freeze dried to show you what the insides of us look like. And It turned out like the majority of them at these exhibits are from like Chinese camps of like dead prisoners and shit. And it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's wild. I didn't know that, but makes sense.
Yeah, look it up. It'll fuck with you. It'll mess with you. They used to have one of those exhibits at the seaport in Manhattan. The South Street Seaport, and then I don't know. I think that one was like one of the ones deemed like ethical. I guess everybody donated themselves instead of just fucking, you know, dying in a camp and getting sold.
Yeah. Now I want to kind of throw this out there. Now, do you think? And this is completely hypothetical. There's nothing in the episode that points to this, but do you think it's possible for them to take these consciousnesses and do like a Minority Report kind of thing where they can, like if they think someone might be like a repeat offender, they can, you know, study their consciousness and see like, you know, if maybe like in this type of situation, they would do it again. Exactly. Because that gets to the whole morality of like the criminal justice we were kind of talking about.
Just running simulations to see what it does. And then what are these things, you know, what is it going to kill while it's in there? Where you get the other consciousness from, you know?
Yeah. Those are the cannon fodder ones.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Holy shit. I just realized, in the end, like, you know how it's cool, it does that cool, like, you know, I don't know how to describe it, where it's like the window inside of the window, like, you know what I'm talking about, that very last scene. Bro, it's like he's in his own fucking snow globe. Yeah. You know what I mean? Stuck in that shit, right?
Yeah. Some interesting imagery.
Yeah, imagery is phenomenal.
You know, you wonder, like, you know, all right, say he decides to bundle up and go outside just to get away from the radio. Like, how much space is there out to move about, you know?
Yeah.
And is it always winter time there? Is it always going to be snowing? You know, like, because, you know, what if it, you know, if it's like summertime, you could go out, you could relax outside.
And also, do you remember as it all comes back to him, he sees the little girl's body out there? Mm-hmm. So you're stuck there with looking out that window and seeing that dead little girl forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you're constantly reminded of like your mistakes and the fucked up things you've done. You know, that's almost punishment in itself.
Yeah.
You know, so in the end, where do we stand with the morality here on the consciousness? Is this okay?
I don't think so.
Is it just the filmmakers depicting it to us via human form, which is really making us feel that way? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I just know. I mean, personally, I mean, you know, aside from what they end up doing to Potter's consciousness at the end. If you take the girl who was it Greta, they set up her, like just the thought of, you know, being stuck in a room for 6 months with nothing, no entertainment, no whatever, just with your own thoughts, like that could drive a person mad.
Well, yeah.
You know, just that right there. I mean, that's torture. I mean, again, is it just lines of code, or is there actually, like, something behind this consciousness. Like when you're stealing their consciousness, are you taking a piece of the soul with it? Like, is that connected somehow, or is it just pure computer programming?
Like, what if you put that consciousness in a mechanical body and bring it to life then, like Pinocchio style?
Yeah, or what if, like, when, I guess you mentioned in the other Black Mirror episode, when the people die and they have like an animatronic body or whatever, like what if they just put the consciousness into that? Like, is that
when she pulls the body out of the thing and gets delivered to the house?
Yeah,
comes out of the
bathtub or whatever,
not a million little pieces. Never.
No, that was
I forgot the name of it.
Fuck. I'll be right back.
Be right back. Yep, that's it.
Be right back. Yeah. Well, there's another one I want you to watch that gets a little deeper into this kind of stuff about the consciousness and the cloning of it and all of that. And then it's like, could we clone our consciousness from DNA? Like, we talk about code, but isn't like your DNA is a code? You know what I mean?
Yeah, more or less.
Fucking, memories. Like, there's a lot of scientists now think that, your DNA holds memories.
Mm-hmm.
And it does. I mean, look, you guys know I got a bunch of pet snakes. How does a baby snake know to grab an animal and constrict it and then swallow it whole out the egg, like right away? Just understands how to fucking kill something and eat it.
Yeah. Or what about human babies? Like, our human children. They're scared of the dark. They're scared of monsters in the night. Monsters under their bed. Like, back in the day when you would sleep around a campfire, there was lions and cougars out in the fucking darkness, and there was monsters in the dark, so you're scared of the dark, right? Why are some people scared of spiders? Maybe they have an ancestor who was, attacked by spiders and died. Like there's these things that it was like a shared consciousness, what they call it. That stuff's fascinating, and especially now with. Are you guys familiar with CRISPR?
Yeah.
So
the
like
gene thing where you can pick like your kid's eye color and shit.
Exactly. So they're just doing all that with computers. They're just we want blue eyes, 6'3", 100. Like they're able to just program it more or less.
Yeah. And if this is public knowledge, imagine what's private knowledge with biotechnology.
Oh, I mean, dude, it came out that our scientists are, they're making human ape hybrids and shit like that.
Yeah.
Fucking
called
Alex Jones was talking about that shit forever ago, and now they just recently reported that it legitimately is fucking happening.
No way.
Yeah, man, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. Everyone said he was crazy, which he is crazy, but maybe for other reasons. But he was right on that one.
This is how Planet of the Apes comes to fruition.
Well, they said Hitler had a plan for doing it, and that he wanted to make like a super fucking army. Of head, because he figured the best, if you could make men with the strength of fucking gorillas, like who's stopping that? Fucking Silverback will rip you fucking half.
Yeah, the Nazis, they practiced that eugenics where they would take the best, strongest athletic men and women, the smartest, strongest athletic men and women, and breed them.
Yeah. I mean, there's actually that might be a reason why there's so many amazing black athletes, because when their ancestors were slaves, you want the biggest, strongest guy working in your fields, so you're going to breed the biggest, strongest ones together, and then now,
Chris Rock has a whole bit about it.
Super slave.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the super slave thing.
Yeah. No, it's.
Oh shit. Never thought about that.
It always kind of comes.
Well, that's what in Chris Rock's bit, he speaks about how. If you were a slave and you could read, they would kill you. Like they would kill off like the smart ones, and then the big, strong ones, the men and women, they would make them, breed, and then create larger people. And in the bit, he basically says that's why we have the NFL today.
I mean, he does is a great bit, but he's not wrong. It is a joke. He's
if it's in Bring the Pain or if it's in Bigger or Blacker, but it's in one of those specials.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of stand-up comedy. Like you could talk about serious issues and then poke fun at it, but can you do that anymore?
I think if you
what happened with Dave Chappelle, bro? Come on, man. This last Chappelle thing.
Yeah, but like, was he like? Yeah, he was canceled, quote unquote. Was he really canceled? Like, if you like Dave Chappelle,
No,
you're
he
still gonna
wasn't.
listen to
But
him.
just the fact that there was outrage at all.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if you guys seen the special or not.
I did.
I didn't see the
But-
new one yet.
Basically, like I watched it, I didn't think it was any worse than the Sticks and Stones one. That one, I think he probably said even more like crazy shit. But if you watch the special, that community was doing the exact thing he said they were gonna do. You know what I mean? So it's almost like, and I forget, I probably was on Rogan or something, but he said like all these reports, you don't see anybody using any quotes from the actual special. It's just, this special is transphobic. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
It's like, because a majority of the people bitching about it online probably didn't even fucking watch it. They just heard that he talked about trans people.
Well, and that's what he said.
Let's blow it out of proportion.
He said, like, I'll sit down, I'll talk with any trans leader, any trans group, whatever, but you have to watch it first. Then I'll talk to you about anything you want to talk about. And as far as I know, no one's taking him up on that, because they're just looking for a reason to cancel him. They don't, they don't actually want to listen to what's going on. Because if you listen to it, he tells a pretty heartfelt story about a trans woman that he knew who ends up, committing suicide, like someone he was friends with. So, like, he kind of, I don't know, he shows that it's not all just like, I'm not just poking fun just to like pick on them. Like, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. That's a whole other, we could go down a whole other rabbit hole with that kind of stuff, but.
And that parallels like, in the story here, you're a good guy or a bad guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's, dude, he fucking kills a guy. Like, he kills with Christmas, right? That damn snow globe strikes it again. But like, we're getting the story through his eyes. So how reliable is it? Like when we see him drunk, and that's him telling us about him being drunk. Like how much more drunk is he? You know what I mean? So it's like I understand her motive, but at the same time, there's a way to go about these things. Like this guy, even though he might be a drunk and a borderline fucking vase breaker, you know what I'm saying? Like he still has a right to know about that child. Whether it was his or not, he has a right to know that she had an affair and fucking got knocked up. Yeah,
no, I mean, he at least deserves to know the truth. Even if she doesn't tell him the whole truth. Even if she's just like, look, I don't want the kid, like, maybe we should go our separate ways, whatever, but like it should have been a conversation versus just being ghosted. Now, I know you guys grew up in a different era than me, but when I was growing up in like high school and shit and in college, like one of the worst feelings in the world is you're talking to a girl and then like something happens and you just get ghosted. Like she doesn't answer your texts, she blocks you on Facebook, whatever. It's like, can you at least like tell me what I did wrong? You know? But it's like this technology allows you to do that. I mean, maybe it was different then because like you have to actually, I don't know, find them in person or call their house phone or whatever, or fucking telegram or whatever, Morse code, whatever
breaking up
you guys
with somebody was like, oh, you could do it. You broke up with her over the phone. Yeah. What is wrong? Now and then it's like you broke up with her on text. Then it's like you just changed your Facebook status to single and blocked them.
Yeah, you're lucky if you get a phone call now.
Yeah, shit. It's crazy, dude. But we really can keep peeling the layers of the onion on this episode, But overall, it's probably one of the best, if not the best. I gotta say.
It's definitely top 5 for me. I don't have like a definitive ranking, but I can confidently say that.
Yeah, it's definitely in the top. I think I said earlier top like 3, and I'll stick with that. I'm not sure. There's a few of them that I'm really like, damn, I
mean, Shut Up and Dance is just like the real gut punch. That ending is just so fucking hard to watch, So I mean, that is a pretty good contender for one of the best.
Yeah. Another one I'm a big fan of that people don't talk about as much, maybe because it's in the first season, but the entire history of us.
I was just going to say that. I'm looking at it right now. Entire history of you.
Is that with the eye thing?
Yeah.
The eye camera thing?
Yeah. I mean, essentially, it's like a version of this Z eye thing, or Zed, whatever they want to call it.
yeah.
Goddamn Canadians can't just say
It's
Z
like-
like normal people.
It takes the technology of that and the technology of Be Right Back and like kind of puts it together, where it like sits in your head for a week. Is similar to going through all your emails and social medias and stuff. You know, like in Be Right Back, and then the other episode, the eye shit. You know.
Yeah, I actually just watched that earlier today because I had nothing else to do. And when I turned on my Netflix, like Black Mirror was still up.
Yeah.
So when I got home from work, I threw it on. I was like, oh man, like that episode is nuts. Like as far as just like, you know, do you really need to remember everything? You know, like do you need to record everything?
Yeah. It's almost
Like,
better
'cause
if
they-
you don't, you know?
Yeah, you just make yourself crazy because then you could nitpick. Like, well, look at the face they made when they said that. Look at, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, he was right, though. He was right to nitpick.
yeah,
it.
you was. I mean, not to, you know, fucking surprise new episode we're gonna cover right now, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, like I will say, like between that episode, this episode, I don't know how much of a fan Charlie Brooker is of women. If he did both, like they tend to always kind of have a negative light around
Crocodile.
We
What
should,
about Crocodile?
yeah. We should get Charlie on here and be like, who hurt you?
Who hurt you? Was it mom? What was it, grandmom?
Grandmom. Yeah,
All right, boys. I think it's time to put this one to bed.
I think so. Guess we'll get some scores real quick. Joey,
Scores.
what do you got?
This is top tier, 5 out of 5. I mean, you can't get really much better than this one, you know?
Nice.
Like the things that I complained about, there wasn't really much complaining, but just like the things that I tried to question and like maybe nitpick and find a plot hole was like barely anything, you know? Like there really is. You got a plot hole?
Well, I mean, it's not a big deal thing, but because I'm 5 out of 5 on this too. Like, this is as good as a TV show could get. The only thing that I've ever questioned about this episode is where the fuck did she get that funnel from on the bed?
Oh, shit.
She walks in with 2 glasses in her hand. She's on top of him as he's like choking, and out of did she pull it out of a snatch? Where the fuck did that funnel come from?
It's next to her bed. It's her butt plug funnel.
Yeah, that's something I'd pay to see, right? Yeah, that is.
I got a Twitter account for you.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know where she got the funnel from. It's a good question. That's a good. Yeah, that's probably the only plot hole. I don't know what else.
Yeah, the only thing I'm in the episode where I'm kind of like something. I don't know. Maybe there was an edited scene where she reached over to a dresser or something.
She was doing kegels with it or whatever.
Keg stand.
So I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5 because actually no, I'm gonna go 4.8 because I have trouble giving perfect scores. It's kind of like with you know, when they judge was it figure skating? It's like you almost never see a 10 out of 10 because it's like you could always kind of do better. You know, because like what if you set this as a 10 out of 10 and the next season they come out with an episode that blows this one out of the water? You know, so I always try to leave a little wiggle room.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I get it. They're both 10 out of 10s then, but I get it.
But is that one?
I get it,
if
Don.
it's better, is it an 11 out of 10? You know, please don't compare me to that.
Sorry.
No, that's all good. Yeah. Did we?
What do we got next time?
Yeah, I was gonna say next episode. Are we doing? Did we decide on Lighthouse? Is that what we decided?
I think so.
Okay, because we weren't sure. We had a documentary, but we're not sure if it's available for free or where it's available. So I know
Let's kick off
Lighthouse.
the New Year's with a bang.
This will be a bang. Lighthouse. So Joey's the only one that hasn't seen it. I'm excited to rewatch it. I haven't watched it. It's a couple of months.
A couple days.
No, I watched it like back in September, October.
Is
or
it a
something.
weekly watch for you?
It was for a little while, especially at the beginning of the pandemic when I had nothing to do. I was just like, let me watch this again. It was between that and Parasite, which I fucking love too. I'd love to.
I still didn't see that
You
either.
would
I
love
gotta
Parasite.
get that.
We'll put
Yeah.
that on the back burner. That's coming up at some point.
All right.
But yeah, so that's the episode.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy
Happy Kwanzaa.
Hanukkah.
The animals.
Happy Kwanzaa. all of
The
it.
flying spaghetti
Festivus.
monster, whatever it is you celebrate.
Festivus, yes.
Rest of this for the rest of us.
There you go. I got a problem with you guys. Got to air some grievances.
There's some grievances. Feats of strength.
That's what we'll do next episode, Feats of Strength. Okay.
Shit.
Good episode, guys. Thanks again, Tom. I don't know if you made it this far through the episode. If you listened, thanks for coming on. Check out TNT. Oh, check out our link trees. All of our socials are in there. Check out the blog, all that shit.
Tweet me.
Tweet at Joey. He's lonely.
Yeah. Hit the Instagram up. Joey's wife shouted us out. Got us some followers.
Thank you, Joey's
Shout
wife. Appreciate it.
Hashtag Queen.
Hashtag Queen. Love it. All right. See you guys next time.
Peace.